Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Resort Recon Live podcast. I'm your host, Reina Creole, and in on this podcast, we just have fun, laughing, informing you all about what's going on in the theme parks news for this week. And not only that, we take questions from you guys in the audience because when I'm out there live, I'm kind of running around and I try to get some of the questions. But doing a Q&A theme park show in studio is a bit different. It's a bit more relaxed, much more interactive since I can concentrate on you guys and not run it into people in the parks and everything. So today is going to be an awesome show. We're going to be talking about some latest footage from Epic Universe. We're going to be going over that courtesy of Bio Reconstruct over on X. We're going to be talking about a Disney guest yet again getting trespassed from the park, the opening of the Mardi Gras tribute store over in Universal Orlando, and how I ran into a little issue on preview day, thanks to, I believe, some bloggers either not being very courteous or, well, I'll give you some inside baseball on that in a little bit. And of course, not only are we talking about the Star Cruiser being used for office space, but we're going to have a little fun pricing trips to Walt Disney World with the various mix of personas. So we're going to start out with the usual, four four people traveling, but you guys come up with personas like, the solo trip or the chick who wants to shop, you know, spring break group of people, whatever. We're going to price it out and I'm going to show you exactly how Disney's website does not have your best interests at heart. So you got to keep that in mind. We're going to show you live and in person how that is going to work. So speaking of live, we've got one of my co-hosts, Erica from Erica Hanging with Erica and Rob. How you doing, my dear?
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you very, very well, my dear.
Doing good on this fine Saturday. The sun was shining today in Germany, but it was like 20 something degrees.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss that weather, but
I
man,
won't miss it when we leave.
I don't blame you. Oh my gosh. I said I'd never there's cold over here in the US and then there was this strange cold in Germany with the wind just like
Oh,
whipping up
yeah. The
into my it was crazy. It was nuts. I was literally like those Eastern European chicks who had the scarves wrapped around their head. And I came home and I started doing that. My mother's like, how did you start doing that? I'm like, Mom, you don't understand how cold it is there and the wind that pops up there. Now I understood why I would see all of these movies and videos with these like Eastern European women and their head was like wrapped up in a scarf. I'm like, and not the nice, silk scarf like Grace
yeah.
Kelly driving around with the top down. No, we are talking like, oh my gosh, old like
Like whatever they
knitted.
could grab to keep warm.
Yes. Like I just pulled this off, even if it was just a blanket and putting it around my head because it's so darn cold. So let's see who we have got here in the chat before we get rocking. I see 48 of you guys in here so far. Thank you so very, very, very much. I see you guys watching over there on X. Make sure you heart the stream. You guys over here on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to me and to Erica. They're all there in the description box. Let's see. We got DJ Knight says, can't wait. She says, for the movie
No.
Shaft. Yes, we are going to be doing a watch
Oh.
party for Shaft 1971. I'm so excited. So excited. And not only that, but after the stream ends, you'll be routed over to the premiere for a breakdown of the trailer Shaft 1971. So Retro Nerd Girl and I are having a blast going back and looking at these old movie trailers and just noticing the difference between the trailers back then and the trailers now. And it, oh my gosh, it's time in a bottle.
Mm.
That's all I'm gonna say. It's time in a bottle. I'm like, dang, those sideburns. Whoo. Hey CJ. Movie Shaft is what they call every new Disney release, especially Captain America Brave New World, which, yes, I will be watching that. Yes, I will be doing a live stream review of that. So make sure you're subscribed to me and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can know when that goes out. Of course, Erica's here in the chat. We've got Go and Shogi. Hello, my dear. Says howdy, howdy, howdy. That will never not be funny, especially if you ever had the Jaws toy. And I don't know if you ever had it. It was so funny. It's like it would have like
Um,
all these different items in its mouth, and it's like you would have to fish
I
to
think.
try to get it out. And if the jaws like snapped on it, you lost.
Oh, no, I never had that. I did have a rubber toy shark that would squeak, and I
Hmm.
play with it in the water in my bath, like my bath water as a child. That's about as sharky as it got.
Yeah, I had both of those, the squeaky shark toy and
Mm.
the one that you had to like try to fish it out of the shark's mouth and everything. But yeah, that part of Toy Story had me cracking up. This shark with his hat on. That's just how authentic that darn movie was. Hey, Goof435, good to see you. Fire Dragon, good to see you. Hello, all. Hello,
Hello.
all. Looks so cute. I love that avatar. Love it. And Nita, hey, hello, my dear. Good to see you. Says, hey, all. Yes, I did get your
Hi.
text. And for those who are wondering, unfortunately, there was a charter plane that went down in Northeast Philadelphia. No, nowhere near where my relatives live, but I know that area
Oh,
very well. And unfortunately, uh, there was like, from what I understand, there were no survivors. There were 6 people on it. It was like a
oh,
life flight, which makes it even
geez.
more uh, upsetting. So they're
Mm,
trying to get to the bottom of exactly what happened with that particular flight. So yeah, just pray for
mm.
those people because it's it's tragic when any for any loss of life, but especially for something like that. So yeah, my family's fine. They live way out in in the suburbs, but this part did go down in a very populated area
Oh,
of Northeast Philly where was it North
mm.
no in Philly where I used to like shop and stuff like that. Hey Braylon, hey good
Hi, Brandon.
people. Good seeing you. Good to see you. We have got Liam's Rebellion Corner who says hi, hello, and welcome. Welcome. We got Keely Chow who says, hey, everybody, good morning. Well, good morning. Good morning.
Good
Good morning to
morning.
you. And Roll Tide, of course, of course, of course. Yes, they have Goof 435, and we're gonna talk about it and show you guys how they do it. It's when you go
Mm.
on their website to try and plan a trip, you have to remember it's like the casino. The house always wins. So you have to keep that in mind when you're doing that. It is not, put it this way, it is not set up to save you money. It's
Oh,
just not.
no. Mm-mm.
It's not. And I again, as someone in IT, I get exactly why they do certain things. So let's just say, well, you'll see it in action. We'll see it in action. 20 Celsius, that's warm. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
especially for where
yeah.
you are, like up in Quebec. Oh my gosh. Let's see. We've got Shaft. Oh my god, funny. And you dig it. Yeah. Yeah. Go see that episode of The Simpsons where they went to the They went to the Japanese restaurant, and that was I think that was the one where Bart ordered octopus with extra tentacles or something like that. Well, they like scooted away from their parents and went to like this karaoke room, and they were doing the theme from Shaft. Him and Lisa. It is so freaking funny.
Hello, Dylan.
Hey, Dylan, good to see you. Good to see you. And we've got Brogu. Hello, Lorena. Brogu is here. The party is over. Oh, no,
Mm.
it's not over. You just got here. Kiss my grits. Hey.
Hey, it's been a while.
Oh, I know, I know, I know. I love that Avatar stuff. That oh, I used to love watching Alice in reruns. So funny. Speaking of movie trailers, the original trailer for Alien was absolutely terrifying. Can't believe Disney got away with
Mm.
playing it in a great movie ride. Ha ha ha. Yes. You want to talk about okay, the great movie ride, not gonna lie. Outside of the Wizard of Oz scene, which was so colorful.
Mhm.
Just I loved it. I fell asleep in that ride until you got to Alien and how you go through there and you're in the spaceship, the Stromo, and it is oh my gosh, it was so freaking scary how they did.
Remember, yeah.
Remember that and the alien.
Ugh. Oh, I know, it's gross. Did you ever get the slime on you or oh,
You
that's just
hope
gross.
to get
I
slime.
hated
That
that. Oh, not me. That movie terrified me. My dad loved it. He'd rent it like all the time, and I would just walk out of the room because it terrified me.
it for me, it's like I didn't like my parents didn't want me to like watch it because I happened to walk in and I walked in on the best scene possible when that alien burst out of douche. There's like, you can watch this, you can watch like what? What? But you know what? I went to the school library and guess what novelization they had? The Alien movie. I'm like flipping pages and like so freaking scared to death and loved it. And loved it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Only thing that bothers me about the new bride is the fact that the Constance version made it into the Haunted Mansion movie remake. Huh. Okay. Let's see. The new bride of Haunted. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Best way to save money, huge amount of money, is not to stay at a Disney resort directly off property or partner hotels with shuttle to the park and free breakfast. We're going to talk about that because that is a trade off. And you'll hear me talk about trade offs a lot when we're pricing things. Hey, BR guys, how you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. This is hi Lorena. Hi Erica. We've got Pink
Hello?
T33. Good to see you. Good to see you. And let's see who else we have got in here. This is a good point. They should have updated the great movie ride, not done away with it. That was what proved they didn't care about theming anymore. Well, I'll tell you what, someone who I'd love to opine on that. We've got Ron Bradley from Follow the
Hi.
Bradley's Fun. How you doing?
Uh, Good. I literally just finished my workout, which is why I'm off camera right now. But uh, once I stop sweating and clean up, I'll be on camera.
Take your time, dude. I know how that is. I walked around so much at SeaWorld yesterday. I didn't realize it. And I got home, ate dinner, and just boom. I was just out. I didn't realize how much I had been walking. And at the clip that I walk at, sometimes I just do
Yeah,
not realize it.
like I've said before, you don't when you're doing it and you're in that moment, you're like, I'm not thinking about this, and then you get home and you're like, what the heck happened to me?
Oh my, I can't get up. My legs don't want to move. What the heck just happened?
Yeah, I was at where was I? Epcot yesterday. Unfortunately, I missed the news from Marvin. I didn't go into the land pavilion, and I wish I would have gone in there to just to see what was going on with the whole soaking ceiling and stuff. Apparently the land pavilion is not being taken care of like it should be, and I hate that because I love that pavilion. Dag nabbit.
There's so much with maintenance that has just gone away with Disney, and it's a shame because so much of it is like falling apart. And like all of us, we never remember a time when something like this happened.
I,
If
you mentioned SeaWorld, and I will tell you. So, and SeaWorld is, they've had their struggles, right? Everybody knows SeaWorld has had their struggles over the years.
right,
About 10, 15 years ago, I've been a pass holder for SeaWorld forever. So since I moved to Florida, because it was the easiest pass to get a hold of. And so I 2009, I think, is when I started our passes to SeaWorld. But I do remember, like, I remember thinking at SeaWorld, I saw peeling paint sometimes on the ceilings or some cobwebs where they shouldn't have been. And I used to be like, man, this would never happen at Disney. And that was one of the big differences. And now I'm like, but it happens all the time at Disney. I was passing I was on the monorail and I thought, wow, the Space Mountain looks pretty good. They've actually, got that cleaned up. And then you pass Space Mountain and you see the canopy for Tron and you're like, oh my gosh, did they ever clean that thing at all? It looks horrible. Like the upper part of the canopy of Tron just has so much dirt.
I
It's so
know.
nasty looking. And I'm like, what? I mean, I don't know. And another thing, you want to talk about show, which is one of the, we used to be one of the 4 key basics, now 5. Show, that element of show. You would never in the past have seen the Astro Orbiter completely off stage when they were doing maintenance on it. The Astro Orbiter is just gone right now while it's down.
Yes, it looks like a big giant ring, and I didn't say anything during my live stream because I was looking at the fireworks, and it didn't hit me until I left the park. I'm like, wait a minute, why was I able to see the fireworks like that? And then I went back and looked, and the Astro Orbiter is completely taken
It's
apart,
gone.
except for
It's
that
just gone.
one
That's
ring.
so weird looking.
It is gone.
And
I've never seen that before.
that is that
Are they
is that
changing
is
out
some of
their
the
vehicles?
yeah, well, I mean, they're probably. I mean, that's what's so funny. Like, I used to work there, right? So back in on the back side of Fantasyland, there's a cast member exit right by Little Mermaid, and when you go out that cast member exit, you're right behind the circus tent where they have the gift shop there.
Hmm.
And it's like a dead lot for a bunch of the ride tracks. So there used to be teacups back there and Dumbo things back there, carts and Astro Orbiter carts. But they always had extra, and they could actually switch them out if they needed to. So that's why I'm wondering what the heck is going on. You would think that they would normally leave the bad ones on stage and
Hmm.
then refurbish everything they needed to, and then overnight, when the park is closed, replace that and then also refurbish those older ones that needed the refurbishment then, so, and to have them ready to replace for the next. It's just so weird. It's not happening now. What used to happen
Hmm.
used to be grade A maintenance is definitely grade B now for sure.
More like I would say pretty much like a C in a
Yeah.
way, because when they would do these refurbishments, and January is always refurbishment season. It's that's how it's always been for years, but it was done in a way that didn't impact show. And it's like they do not care about show. So when you walk into, the Magic Kingdom and you go walk down to where Liberty Square is, you see this big, huge, gigantic crane hanging out, which is something you would never really see in the past. But sad to say, it's like their maintenance knowledge, that body of knowledge of how to maintain the rides, how to do maintenance and refurbishments in a way that does not adversely impact show. That knowledge has either been gone because they've gotten rid of those people, or the people with that knowledge are going to other parks. And they're
Mhm.
just like, yeah, you were responsible for that. Okay, let's pick your brain, download all of that, look at our systems, and you tell us what we need to do in order to keep things going. But speaking of keeping things going, I see you guys in here. John the Beagle Dad, I see you. I see you. Just want to remind you all that with MegaCon next week, because I won't be doing the show next week because everybody's going to be in town. Next Saturday at 10:30 a.m., I will be having a meetup at Everglades Donuts and Cold Brew in Disney Springs. It is
Mm.
free to park at Disney Springs. Everglades Donuts, they have this big, huge patio area with artificial turf and picnic benches. So that's where we will be meeting up. You can get yourself a disrespectful donut that is quite, yeah, these are the donuts at Everglades. And Everglades is a Florida business, local Florida business. And this is just a small example of the type of stuff that they have in there. It is so it's so freaking good.
And chocolates.
Yeah. Mint chocolate.
I need to stop looking at that picture.
It's like we need it's like you need an insulin shot. There are
Mm.
donuts that are
Yeah.
not as decadent. That's true, but yes, this is the level that Everglazed is on. People have asked if it's better than Voodoo Donut. I would say it's different than Voodoo Donut. Voodoo Donut has a lot of different individual craft style donuts, and
Mm.
Everglazed, I don't know. It's like you have to see it. It's so extra that you have to see it.
I
I have
like
to see it in person.
mm, I like the King Donuts out there in Davenport. Oh my gosh. My sister took me there. Oh, I could eat my way through that donut shop.
Oh, I'll have to check that place out too. I love donut shop. I don't know why. There's something about
Me
donut shop
too.
because it's the price point isn't super high, but
Mm.
you get to try all these different things. I miss crullers from New York. Oh, French
Mm.
crullers are so good, especially when they're done well. So nice, so nice. Have you been to Cake Bake Shop yet? No, kiss my grits. I have not been to the $23 slice of cake bake shop yet. I'm gonna have to put that on my list to go and check. I have looked at the decor and peeked in and like looked at it. I mean, the decor is gorgeous, but I don't know. I have to let you guys know.
Uh, I went to the cake bake shop, and I'm switching over to being on camera, which is a whole different device. So give me a minute, and I'll tell you about my experience.
Okay, all right. We will put that on there. Boston cream donuts from Dunk and jelly.
Yes.
Oh yes, that Boston.
Yep. That's my go-to at Dunkin'.
One day,
You can
one day I made like the custard for Boston cream from scratch. I'm like, this is so freaking good.
wow. I've
It's
never made a
so
pudding
delicious.
or a custard from scratch. I'm afraid I'll jack it up.
Well, it was. You try. Why do I see Ron twice? I see Ron twice. Here we go. There you go.
All right, and then let me get off of this one. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I was amazed. We were able to get in and out of the cake bake shop for under $22, and I did not buy a slice of
Oh,
cake.
oh, okay.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, we had So what we got, my son really wanted the croissant when he saw it. It's a pretty big croissant, but it's they have a
Mhm.
chocolate covered one. So it's a pretty
Oh,
good thick coating of chocolate over the top of this croissant. And then they will slightly heat that for you, just a little bit, and that's served separately. It's only $8 though, so it's not like $25 for this slice of cake. That and a slice of peanut butter fudge, like marble fudge with like this gold glitter on top of it, and
Mhm.
a rose flavored macaroon, plus the price of the $2 bag. All of that came to like $21.50. So
jeez.
and it was not bad. I mean, it was like, it's just weird because I don't think I really have an issue with the cake bake shop as an entity itself. I just feel like it's very much at the wrong place. Like, it's so Grand Floridian themed. It feels I mean, you know how when you're in Grand Floridian and you go to Basin and you see
Mhm.
like $10 soap bombs and you're like, I'm at the Grand Floridian, I get it, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that's the way the cake bake shop feels. So it just feels like it should have been added somewhere at Grand Floridian because it breaks the theming of the boardwalk. So probably my bigger issue than the pricing of it is that it's got a Grand Floridian look and price point, but it's got a boardwalk location. And I know boardwalk is a deluxe resort, but it's not this. I mean, okay, let me put it this way. You have the cake bake shop with the $25 slice of cake, and you can walk 60 seconds away over to a corn dog stand. So, like, that theming
Yeah.
is hey, you know what?
It's
I've never been to Atlantic City. What do I know? Maybe that's how the boardwalk is there.
It's not. It's not. It's
Oh,
like, we'll just say, like, if there was a cake shop, like, they would have different slices out that you get to pick from with different flavors. It's not a super high price point, but it would keep with that, like, boardwalk type of theme. Food on the boardwalk, and I've been to Steel Pier, okay, it is not super expensive. That's why it's so darn popular, and why it's usually not very good for you, but nobody cares. That's the theme that it should have, not this super upscale experience, like you were saying, Ron, that fits more with the Grand Floridian, especially when it comes to the decor and everything. It's
mhm.
in the wrong spot. So I don't know what the
Yeah,
deal was to do that, but it's so not in the right place. Let's put it this way: instead of stuffing every other character that we didn't care about because they got rid of what I know 1900 Park Fair to be back in the day, that's where they should have dropped that darn thing.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I could see that. Although I love 1900 Park Fair, and they can always swap out. I don't like the characters that are there right now. I think
I
that's
don't
like
either. That's my thing. I
really
don't
like
like it.
realistically, 1900 Park Fair should be reserved either for Cinderella and those type of characters, and or especially Mary Poppins and
Yes.
those type of characters, because Mary Poppins, that Grand Floridian is supposed to be like her
Hmm.
resort. And there's so much
Mhm.
backstory to that. Like, this is where Imagineering has changed so much to me. Speaking of Imagineering, I saw Tony Baxter yesterday, like in person. He was out signing at Epcot. And I didn't like meet him because I'm not going to buy an $85 print just to go have him sign. But I got some good footage, like right in front of him. So and he didn't seem to mind. He seemed fine. But like when Imagineers, they used to put so much thought into just those little details. Like, is this going here? Like, for example, I'm surprised. Maybe the Big River location, which I think is still closed down, maybe that will become like a seafood restaurant or something. I would assume that on the boardwalk, next to the ocean, you're going to have some type of a seafood restaurant, but maybe it sells like soft shell crab or something like that. And they have some really good chowder and gumbo, and I don't know what else. Gumbo's more of a New Orleans thing, but still, I would think some type of a not a high end, but like a low key seafood restaurant that just has really good fresh
daily seafood would be the right theme for the boardwalk. It's surprising. It's like the comment about the great movie ride earlier. As I was just coming on, I saw that comment, and it's exactly what I think. I think Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway could have easily gone into where Star Wars Launch Bay is right now, which is the perfect location for it because it's literally called Animation Courtyard, and Mickey Mouse is the very first animation that the big one to come out of Disney, besides
Right.
the Alice comedies. So it would make so much more thematic sense in Animation Courtyard. Launch Bay does not. It was only supposed to be there until Galaxy's Edge opened in 2019. So
Right.
Launch Bay should have been immediately shut down the moment Galaxy's Edge opened up, and with plans to refurb that into whatever it was going to be. And the Great Movie Ride, you just spent $70 billion buying Fox, and you couldn't refurbish the Great Movie Ride into a bunch of now Fox/Disney movies. I mean,
And that's my
Yep.
thing about the great movie ride. I'll move on to Epic Universe in a bit. With Great Movie Ride, for me, it was just kind of okay, there's only two things that I like on this. I get the concept because they want to ride you through the era of the movies. I would have loved for them to bring in some older films that we hadn't, like people didn't kind of knew about, but it didn't make the cut, and for some more modern films to be brought in as well. It's like I didn't want it completely done away with, which is what they did with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I love it, but at the same time, it's just like you could have so easily plus that attraction with some new stuff and, like, say some older type of stuff. Like I would have loved to have seen Stormy Weather, like one of the first Black films from the 1930s. I would have loved to have seen that, and a couple of other films that you did. It was such a good chance for them to do it.
it would have been a perfect place for them to highlight a snippet of, say, what was that movie with the first African American Oscar winner? What was that called? Oh, I think it was Song of the
Mm.
South. Yeah, that would have been. We could have had a highlight for that movie right there.
We so could have, but you know how they are. But stepping away from Disney a little bit, this, first of all, I love, if you're not following Bio Reconstruct, you need to follow Bio Reconstruct. So this is literally his footage, the flyover over Isle of Burke. And this is Hiccup's winged gliders. This is an Intamin coaster. That is just crazy.
What is that ride?
I forget what this one is with the arm. I forget the name of it, but how it works is it's like you can think of it as like if the teacup rides were little individual parts, okay. With these, you can make the gliders move as fast or as slow as you want them to. It's kind of crazy. It's like you've got movement in several directions with that one. I forget the name of it. It looked really flippin' weird, but that's what I heard. Like you can, you can change it as fast or
It's like
slow.
an airplane. It's like
Yeah.
an airplane, and the wings, depending on how you adjust the wings, depends on which direction you spin, how fast you're spinning. Yeah, Christian loves those things. I don't trust myself. I feel like my ability to balance while the thing is moving, I'm just going to be like spinning on top of spinning and just going around in circles screaming.
It's like the same move, and thank you, BR guys, Dragon Rally Racers. Yes, it's the same principle of like if you're in the teacup ride, okay, the teacup ride itself, the platform is already spinning, but then you're in an individual cup and you're either just sitting in there not spinning, or if you're like me, I'm spinning as fast as I possibly freaking can.
Yeah, but you're grounded. You're up in the air with this, and you're
I know.
literally just like,
I'm so excited. It's almost like My mother called it the salt and pepper shaker ride, where it's like you had one card on one end and one on the other end, and it spun around, and then the little thing like at the end spun around too.
Does Epic have any slow or dark rides?
I
Nope.
believe that they wait, slow dark rides?
Slow
Only the
and or
carousel.
dark rides. Either or,
The
both.
carousel is the only one I can think of. I think
Carousel
everything is
is
like coaster based.
the carousel is slow. Oh,
Well,
what
there's Yoshi.
Yoshi's?
Oh
Yeah, that's Yoshi
crap!
isn't a dark ride, but it is slow. Dark ride would be the Mario Kart one
Oh,
in
yeah, there
Bowser's
you go.
Well,
Castle.
the
So
monsters, I think
there's
there's a
that.
monsters one that's going to be a dark ride, but that's going to be like a thrill ride too, I think.
Yeah, that's in the that's in
I
Atlanta.
would say the one area where Disney may have a slight upper hand on other parks is the slow dark water rides, because a lot of other parks just don't do those types of rides. And I'm not really sure why. And I say that because even though there's like extreme hatred and shade thrown toward like It's a Small World, I still love it, and
Mhm.
and it's pretty busy all the time. And I say that because like those are the rides that all the generations can go on together.
Yeah.
And so I love what Universal's doing, and I just see that that's the one thing, the one area where you say when you're looking at maybe this competing with Magic Kingdom for visitors, if people have smaller kids, they might look at that and go, well, I don't see enough for my smaller kids, and so those families would gravitate towards Magic, maybe, but I don't really know. But then you have Epcot on the other hand, which has slow dark rides, but mostly as a drinking station. Mostly it's just Epcot's really just a giant bar now.
I would say well there are slower
I don't
rides,
hate Navi River.
especially for I do. I do. I could take a darn nap in that. Well, put it this way, I love and hate
That's
it
what
at
I
the
like
same
about it.
time. The queue is gorgeous. The immersion of the queue is gorgeous. The ride is freaking boring, but you cannot hate on how well that they put it together. It's just not for me, but it's a
It's
nice,
not
but it's a
good.
nice stretch.
It's not the best story.
No, it isn't.
And that's the problem with it. And it was supposed to be, they cut the budget massively on Navi River
Mhm.
when they were building it, and that's the problem. There were that last animatronic. There was supposed to be several more like that, and they ended up being screen projections. And so there's things about Navi River, like there's certain things about Navi River that I like love, but it's not done big enough or well enough, or like it doesn't hit you enough, right? Like little froggy creatures on top of the leaves, like
Agreed, although it ends so abruptly, it's just like,
yes, yeah. So
okay.
Very short.
it's those elements of it where you like the here's the bad part about Navi River. You wait 75 minutes. I never have, by the way, but it looks like a 75 to 90-minute wait most of the time I'm there. And for those people, I would say, do not wait for this ride. It's not good enough to wait. It's worth a 10-minute wait max.
It's the one you go and wait in if you can't get on Flight of Passage right away.
Yeah. And they need a third ride in Pandora, big time need a third ride. And so some type of a ride that involves like the water thing from the second movie would be good. I'm interested to see. We haven't even seen a trailer for the third movie come out yet, which I'm kind of surprised that there's not even a single teaser trailer. Like I'm waiting. Has a teaser dropped for F4 yet? There's no teaser for F4 either. Like those are two big movies that are coming out this year that I'm like, I have no faith in Fantastic Four, so I'm very interested in seeing that first teaser to see if it's like the throw up that I think it's going to be. But yeah.
Well, I will say that there are, one of the things about Epic Universe is that there are a lot of these other attractions for families, especially Isle of Burke.
That's
if you want to know where all the kids are pretty much going to be, especially younger kids, besides going over to Super Mario World, because Yoshi is a slow slow ride that goes around the park. So it's that one. Mario Kart, that one is purposely slow. It's just everything, since it's heads up augmented reality, the vehicle doesn't move as fast. Everything you're seeing is on the heads up. But over here at Isle of Berg, never mind. I love like the little family coaster where it's where it's the small barges and you can shoot water off of it. And there's people who can shoot water and there's targets that you shoot at. Think of like, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. The ride and the attraction in, oh my gosh, the attraction in Toy Story Land, Midway Mania. That's kind of like what this is like, except you're on a vehicle that shoots, that you can shoot water. And there's targets that you shoot at. There's another coaster that's a bit faster, and that's the Intamin coaster. The one that's on the barges with the water, that's a mat coaster. So that was more like the family one that's going on. Plus, they've got Mead Hall, so much stuff that. Okay, first of all, I got to say this because I saw this over at when I stayed at Stella Nova and I took a picture. There's like a dragon house at the way super top. If you're not looking for it, you'll miss it. I didn't even notice it until I like expanded it and looked. I'm like, holy shoot, that's a dragon house that's up there.
So, okay, but here's my question. Is there going to be anything in Isle of Berg quite as exciting as a splash pad that if you run your hand under the water, you might hear some chimes? anything quite as exciting as putting your hand over something and going, why isn't this water touching? Why isn't this working?
No, but apparently you can shoot some water and hit someone in
a boat. Yeah,
you can do that.
That's like the Popeye the bilge, whatever barges.
Yes,
where people are shooting at you, like you're on it, you're already getting soaked. People are inside, they're laughing at you, they're shooting water on you. It's if you are okay with that stuff, it's a blast. If somebody dragged you onto that ride and you didn't want to get wet, it would suck, because if you go on Bill's Rat barges, you're getting soaked. I'm telling you.
You are. It's pretty much a given. And I saw the testing for Donkey Kong when I was at Stella Nova. It was so cool. I'm like, is that a cart that just jumped over there that I saw? So yeah, this is Donkey Kong Country. So it's not something that you can see directly as soon as you get into Super Mario World. You literally have to go into like another corridor and then boom.
So cool looking though. Like
that.
You know what's
amazing?
The
biggest draw for How to Train Your Dragon for little kids will be not only the boat ride, but the character meet and greets. I have a feeling they're going to do a lot with Toothless.
They
have that show. They have the really big show. I think that's going to be the main draw for like little kids. I think it's more based on that and the theming than really the rides. So it's more experience based, not like ride based, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you will. There is going to be a Toothless meet and greet. If you go back and you watch the first announcement video for Epic Universe, and they talk about How to Train Your Dragon, and I love how they did this, because they had a couple of the folks from Universal Creative, and they were talking about, in the end, it's all going to be about the experience of being at the How to Train Your Dragon movies.
Yeah.
And then they talk about the meet and greet that they're going to have with Toothless, which will be an actual interactive puppet, like independent of its, just how it's moving. And they were just like, we just wanted to recreate that moment where Hiccup gets to like touch Toothless, and you see like each one from Universal Creative talking about that, like imitating it, and they were just like, when it actually happened for them, they were just like, I can't even, the emotions they felt. They're like, this is what we want the visitors to, you know, Isle of Burke to pretty much feel, that get that moment that you can recreate. So yeah, Erica, I agree with you. It is about getting to do like the meet and greets that they have, especially with Toothless, the show that they'll have inside of a recreation of meat, you know, of a
And the dining experience there is supposed to be really like just super immersive. And that's probably a great family restaurant, even like for little ones. So there's a lot of draw there. And I love how Universal in a way is communicating that you don't have to have a ton of rides to have that draw and to make it fun and immersive.
Absolutely. And thank you, the mom. Thank you for last night's stream. Was so hungry. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just I'm gonna be there Sunday with my bento box and start trying some of the food over there at the Seven Seas Food Festival at SeaWorld. And thank you for being a member, my dear. I so do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Lorena, how do we get our press passes for SeaWorld? I saw that they were doing a media event, and I was like, you know what? Let's talk to Pro.
We need to talk to Pro about that, because I was running into some folks that were there for the media event. So yeah, especially with food like that. And yes, comes out with perfect timing. How to Train Your Dragon movie coming out, and I think a little later. Is it this year? Is it next year? I think next year. The remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I'm really into, from James Wan. But also, again, to Erica's point about not needing a ride to have the experiences, this is a prime example. So this is over in the Ministry of Magic area, where they have replicated the streets of Paris. And just like with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, if you do not have to go to any attraction. Just get your wand, walk around, do stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And in Diagon Alley, all of the little back walkways and stuff that all have something in them to see is so freaking cool. I'm looking at this footage and I'm realizing something that I had never, there was a thought that hit me that I don't know why it didn't hit me before. I realized exactly how Disney is competing directly with Epic Universe right now. They're putting cranes up. They're like, see, we have cranes too. Look at there at Fort Wilderness. There's 4 big giant cranes.
I know, I've seen that.
There's a huge bungee jump attraction looking crane right where Thunder Mountain should be.
It's a crane family, literally, that's over there, and they're as annoying as the Sandhill cranes, honestly.
No,
you
far
see
more.
Them from
I would have a Sandhill crane bite my finger before wanting to see that thing in Magic Kingdom. The only excuse for having a crane in Magic Kingdom is when you're taking off the dream lights from the castle, but they're not there. So there's no excuse.
Here's Darkmoor, which is over in Dark Universe. Oh my gosh. And the Curse of the Werewolf coaster, which is this right here. This is also a mat coaster. My God. It looks, I cannot tell you how, even in person, because I got to see it when you take the bus from Stella Nova over to City Walk, you will pass by this. And it's almost like what happened to the forest. Because you're in all this vibrant, Central Florida green and all that. And as soon as you go in the Dark Universe, it's like the trees are dark. It looks like you're somewhere else. So they have done an amazing job with not only just putting the attractions in here, but making it feel like literally you were in the dark forest somewhere. and it's fabulous what it looks like. I'm so Dark Universe is a universe I didn't think we needed. We did. Oh, and here's
Right?
the Chronos at the front. Yeah, it's like, do we really need that? And you look at it, and it's just like, I shouldn't go over there, but I want to go over there and check it out. And this is in the front, and this is kind of like what I try to explain to people. When you enter the park, okay, there's the ticket gates and everything in the front. This Chronos, that is literally analogous to when you go to the Magic Kingdom and you have to walk through one of those two walkways, and your field of vision is purposely restricted until you get to Main Street USA and it all opens up. That's exactly what this Chronos is for here too. You walk into it, and then when you walk out, you see all of Celestial Park, and at the end, you see
The
Helios
hotel.
Hotel, which looks very much like the Disneyland Hotel in Tokyo Disneyland. Helios is gorgeous with the sun reflecting off of it. They've got this clock on there that lights up. Like at the end of, when it's evening, the dusk, you can see it, it lights up. It's just, the glow is insane, and it is just absolutely freaking beautiful. And again, just proves, yeah, there's folks who used to work at Imagineering back when Imagineering was respected, and the CEO level basically respected Imagineering.
Most of
know.
Epic, or most of the engineers, whoever they are that's working on Epic, came over from Disney. I mean, I have a friend who literally was on the Imagineering team at Disney that came over to Epic and worked on Epic. So
Yeah.
This right here, and I'm
I'm
forgetting the
so glad they
name.
did.
Goddess. Yeah, me too. I mean, this is intentional. So if you look for where the Chronos is, I forget the name of the Greek goddess, but there's like this ring here, just the size, and she's on it.
Mhm.
The way that you
Like the
can,
moon goddess.
yeah, I think so.
Because there's
You
like
can,
the sun and the moon type
mhm,
theme.
and you can see it. Like, first you see the park, like literally through where she is, and
Oh,
it's,
Luna. That's her
yes,
name.
thank you, yes,
It's
thank you.
Luna.
Thank you. And her twin is on the other side, if I remember correctly, on the other side of the park. It's just the detail here is amazing. And it looks like a park with all the water. It almost reminds you of like the illustrations of like the Greek gardens and everything. It's just, it's insane. It's insane. I cannot wait for this friggin' park to open. It's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts.
Okay.
It is
So
going to be.
Helios is the god of the sun, and then Apollo, the god of light and justice. I don't think they're going to have Apollo represented in the park. I believe it's Helios and then Luna.
Hmm.
I
And
thought,
there's supposed to be some effect, that some kind of lighting effect, whereas the sun is setting, one statue illuminates, um, and the other one starts to kind of like fade. Yeah, I heard something that they've got this like
Ooh.
some effect going on with that, where at dusk you'll be able to see like this change of one illuminate, and then it switches from like light to dark, or from sunrise to sunset, basically.
That makes sense because when I would go by in the evening, there's this clock that's in front of the Helios Hotel. During the day, you know, It's like, it's
Mhm.
there, it looks okay. But in the evening, like that sucker is lit up. It's like when it starts to go to dusk, it starts to just like glow. So
Glow.
I
Yeah.
think you're right. I'm gonna have to. I took a whole bunch of footage that when you're taking it from that high up, you're just trying to like take footage. But when you actually sit down and you start looking at it and blowing things up and seeing what's going on, that's when you see like the details. So I've got it somewhere. And BR Guy says they are titans of the sun and moon, basically the primordial gods.
Mm, okay.
I love everything about this. It's just so the forethought and everything that went into it is just perfect. So let's see to keep things going here at a clip because I know we're gonna go into some how would I call it gaming, not gaming scenarios, but going in a Disney system for reserving trips.
Mhm.
Another thing I wanted to point out, and this is from the Wrap. Disney Star Wars Hotel to be converted to offices for future Walt Disney World projects. Um, this is this is kind of how I look at it, and I want you guys' opinion on this. The Star Wars Hotel, at least from my standpoint, could have easily been turned into a day experience. I can see people who would probably pay whatever flat rate, that it is, with add-ons if you would like, to hang out at the Star Wars Hotel. And it would actually be in an accessible price point, and they could do it that way. But no, they're deciding to gut it all and put Imagineering there instead.
For the price, why didn't they just have it as like a themed wedding destination for as much as they're charging? You could easily there's enough of a following for Star Wars that I think couples would book a wedding ceremony and reception in that same building, and there's enough ambiance and theming to pull it off. Just saying.
I when I saw this, I was wondering if this has to do with the statutes about a tax write-off, because they wrote this building off as a tax write-off, and I'm wondering if there's anything in that where they said that because they use it as a tax write-off 1 year, they can no longer repurpose it as an entertainment venue or something like that. I'm like, it's this is so weird. This is like, can you imagine having to go to work in $1 billion mistake? I mean, like,
Yeah,
it's bizarro world, especially since I think, and I really, really do think that this conceptually, this could have been amazing. I wanted this to be amazing when they
Mhm.
first announced it. If we could go back in time and change things, Galaxy's Edge would have been built where it was supposed to be. It would have been the a third city on Tatooine, a base on Tatooine that we had not necessarily seen in the movie, but it was still located on Tatooine, or perhaps some other location that we had at least you could associate with a movie. It's like, it's not even a location that you can associate with a Star Wars movie or anything that we've seen Galaxy's Edge be. And at that point in time, this galactic star cruiser was going to be built to where literally there was just like a door would open and you could walk right into Galaxy's Edge from that place. There wasn't going to be this boxcar thing that you had to get in. It was the original design was much better than what we ended up with. Then in the backstory of the Star Cruiser, the perfect voyage was written into the backstory and then not used, and that is the honeymoon of Han Solo and Princess Leia.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still imagine to this day, if you, let's say you did spend $6,000 on it, right? You spent $6,000, but you had heard the good things that you'd heard about it, word of mouth, whatever. And about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks before you leave for your voyage, you get this beautiful envelope in the mail, and you open up, and it's this invitation to the royal celebration of Han and Leia's wedding honeymoon. They're gonna, they invite you on board, and what an easy thing to write a story from when everybody's coming on board to celebrate the honeymoon and the wedding of Princess Leia and Han Solo, and the rebellion or the Empire having been crushed, right? And so it's this huge, wonderful, celebratory time. And midway through your journey, Darth Vader walks in, and you're like, "Wait, how is that Vader? He's dead. We thought he was killed." And then it goes on, of course, and the story is that somebody's impersonating him or whatever, try and make it look like bring the Empire back. But like the story writes itself, and you still could have had an epic lightsaber duel between Luke and Vader. And the Mandalorian could have been there, and Baby Yoda could have been there, and I mean, because of the time period. I mean, there's so many different elements that they could have brought in and made this thing freaking phenomenal. So much so that people would have wanted to go for the next decade, and it would have finally paid for itself. But they didn't do that.
No, see, this is my thing. It's like, and I'm glad you guys mentioned. I know that they did the tax write-off. So at this point, that's the only thing really that they can do with it. However, it's like my whole thing is, it's just like, rather than improve on the experience, because they sent surveys out to people about how they could improve it, rather than adding an experience that would have added value, rather than add an experience where it's like, okay, we'll go back to the drawing board since we sunk all this money into it and do it right. Rather than do that, they decide to take the tax write-off. And therein is what pisses me off the most, because instead of providing something with value, because basically you can get office space anywhere, you can lease it anywhere. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of areas besides that butt ugly Team Disney building, and yes, it is really, really freaking ugly, to put people up from Imagineering. But instead, you decide to take a write-off on this, which proves to me that either there was no plan, or the plan to fix it would have cost more. So either way, you had somebody way above whoever's pay grade who says, you know what, let's just mothball it, because we got this expansion going on. We're not going to spend time with this on Star Wars because it's not making us money, and we didn't do it right. We didn't write in the first place. And no, BR guys, you are not crazy. That was the original plan, which is why I was so hyped about this hotel when it was first announced. I thought, oh, you could basically go off-world and come back whenever you felt like it. I felt like it was going to be Star Wars weekends 24/7, 365.
Boy, did we get the opposite.
We totally did get the opposite, which was so freaking jacked up.
We wanted Star Wars weekends times 25. We got Baby Yoda's dirty diaper. That's what we got. We got a dirty diaper.
Yeah.
It was
And
awful.
at the point that all this was conceptualized and under construction, you had the old Imagineering there, but the problem was that they were up against the upper brass coming down and making changes and budget cuts. And, what we ended up with was, subpar. But now all those people are not there anymore per COVID. So now they've gone on to other industries or other companies within the same industry. And now you're getting even less subpar than what this is, in the parks. And I don't know. I haven't heard any rumors at all if what Disney's going to do to try and bring any of these old guys back.
Some of the Imagineering team actually started leaving during this period when these types of changes started to be made. Actually, they were realizing, most of those people, of course, were based in California and stuff, so a lot of them didn't. But there were definitely those who were like, you know what? I think I'll take my creativity somewhere where I can actually be creative. So, COVID definitely exemplified everything,
Accelerated it.
Yeah, just but yeah, it did a number of things. Here's one of the things that I am happy about, though, is by coming back to the company, Bob Iger, for the most part, has revealed himself to be the losing leader that he actually always was. Because while there will always be people who are under the illusion that he has been the greatest thing since sliced bread that Disney's ever had, most people have realized all of these poor decisions were actually his, and he was actually making them 15, 20 years ago. It's not just recent. So I will say that I'm glad for that reveal. And I'm not saying Bob Chapek was the answer by any means. I'm just saying that what I'm saying is I wish that we could do better. Those of us that are longtime fans of Disney, boy, would we like better.
And you can see where it goes. Like, I remember the interview that was done, I think it was with Lee Cockrell, who dropped the bomb that Imagineering was going on the idea that Galaxy's Edge was just going to be an expansion off of, like, say, Star Tours. So literally, when you went to Star Tours, you got on an Endor, you landed on Tatooine, and as soon as you walked out of that particular shop, it was like you were going to be on Tatooine. We were going to have the Mos Eisley Cantina, y'all. The Mos Eisley Cantina, you see banthas, walking around. There's supposed to be bantha rides that the kids could get on and ride the banthas. You'd have Jawas going out. You basically are able to relive that experience. And imagine being an Imagineering. You grew up with Star Wars. You love Star Wars. You got to work on Star Tours with George Lucas. You have this grand plans of, we are going to bring those experiences that we saw in the movies to life for so many people. And then you get told, guess what? We're doing it on the sequel trilogy instead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you're told, you know what, rather than propagating the space with actors that actually portray aliens and have it feel like a real life Star Wars planet, no, we're just going to have the cast members in their cast member costumes, and they'll say that they have a backstory, and they'll say this and by the way, that wears thin very quick, because if you walk through there, you can pretty much just ask the cast members about their real lives, and they'll tell you. They're not really in character back there.
They're not. The only characters that people really gravitate to in Galaxy's Edge is if you're over there by the Millennium Falcon and Chewie walks out. Just Chewie. Okay. Just Chewbacca. When he walks out, people get excited and they go over there, and he's great. But that's like it. It's like all that they have. It's not like Star Wars weekends where, again, it was like a big, huge Star Wars convention. Every weekend, people could wear their cosplays from home. It was.
Well, they brought in the 501st Legion, which is hundreds and hundreds of people, and they allowed them backstage access so that they could volunteer. And so you had Boba Fett, you had Darth Maul, Darth Vader was there. The Grimorian guards were walking around constantly. The Cantina band people were walking around. I mean, it was everywhere you turned during Star Wars weekend. There was a Star Wars character right out of the freaking movies, and it was the coolest thing ever. And honestly, that life brings more Star Wars than background decoration. And that's with Galaxy's Edge. It's like, okay, I have background decoration, but I don't have life. I don't feel immersed. I felt so much more immersion during Star Wars weekends into the Star Wars universe than I ever did or ever have at Galaxy's Edge. The only thing at Galaxy's Edge that I really like are the ribs. Most days. Some days they're off, but like I like the ribs.
I do like Launch Bay. I do like not Launch Bay. Was it Docking Bay 7? I do
That's where the
actually
ribs are.
like that one. Yeah,
Like
that's where the ribs are.
they did a
That's
good job
where
of the theming
the
in there.
drinks are. Yeah, the theming is great. I love the outdoor section in the evening. That literally it that's probably the closest thing to like
But here's
Star Wars,
what's
I'd
weird
say.
about it is it feels so like Tatooine adjacent, like that, like you can tell that they started off with Tatooine and they're like, how can we like they had to work hard at making it not Tatooine when they could have worked easier and pleased more people to make it Tatooine. I was like, it's literally crazy to me. It's mind blowing that anyone thought this would be a good idea. I'm like,
it's maddening. It's just like I take so much pleasure in that when was it? I think when the Acolyte was canceled, so to speak, that I was over there. I went right into Oga's Cantina and freaking celebrated and said that during a live stream. And I saw some people were looking. I'm like, what? It's true. You search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Search your feelings. You know. I mean, like literally, Darth Vader, for the first time, Darth Vader himself walked into Galaxy's Edge. He said, unimpressive, extremely unimpressive.
Speaking of Vader, that's the last thing I'm gonna say on this point. Remember, whenever Vader would show up in the park, I don't care where you were, people were just fixated. And then when they had the Jedi training with like the Padawans and everything, and they do the training, then all of a sudden Vader walked out.
Yep.
And they're just like, you can do it. Yeah, they have not brought him out since then.
I am very glad that both of my sons had the opportunity to participate in the Jedi Training Academy at some point. I think both of them have. I'm pretty sure Xander did at one point, but it's sad that it's gone. It's so weird. The stage is still there, right? Like, why is?
Yeah, the stage is still there.
A little bit bizarre that Jedi Training Academy is not running right now.
No, they use it for photo ops. So when they want to do photo ops with regards to Star Wars at Hollywood Studios, they'll go over there and film, because I've seen them do it. That's also where you have the 2-scale ADAC with blast scoring underneath of it. So when you go and when you see it, it is the coolest thing. And then when you're in the queue for Star Tours, it's the John Williams score. They do not play any of the John Williams score over in Galaxy's Edge, and that's the difference.
No, because you're supposed to be on this planet, and they wouldn't have that music there, and whatever. Like it's just it. Okay, so here, let me explain the reason why they should have the John Williams score playing in Galaxy's Edge. It is the very same reason that when you watch a Star Wars movie, you hear the explosions in space that you would not hear. You see the explosions in space that you would not see. Things in movies don't look like they would if we actually saw them when it comes to outer space. It's all wrong, and we all know that. But that's what helps the suspension of disbelief and feeling the immersion. So just because it technically doesn't belong there doesn't mean that it wouldn't add to the theming and entertainment and actually the immersion of it, even though like it literally would add to the immersion of it if you heard the right theme in the right place when you're walking through Galaxy's Edge.
Absolutely.
And the fact that Imagineers don't get that one simple fact. No, in outer space, you don't hear an explosion because you can't have sound when you don't have air.
Nope.
So, but yet when we're watching it, it's lots of sound. Why? Because that's how entertainment works. And it's like, how do you have Disney, supposed to be the best entertainment company, not understanding how entertainment works when it comes to a theme park is so bizarre. But look at the movies that have come out the last few years, and it's pretty clear they don't understand entertainment there either.
No, they don't. And you know what? BR Geist is 100% right. When you're over at Universal, walk in Jurassic Park, You hear that score. You walk in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. You hear that John Williams score. That's playing. There's so much of it. The music is such a big deal that Universal built a new water show around that paradigm,
Oh,
Sensational, which
yes.
Ron and I
Oh,
have
gorgeous
both.
show.
It is insane, even without the drone footage, which the drone was really cool. Just the show itself with the water and with the music and how they do it's, oh my gosh, it's so freaking awesome. But speaking of some stuff, kind of sort of awesome, but awesome in the way that we're going to bring this to you. So what we're going to do for about the next hour or so is I'm going to show you how the Walt Disney World planning website is stacked against you. Now, when you're planning a Disney trip,
Oh, yeah.
this is honestly your best way to get theme park intelligence. And why I say that is Disney is the source of truth when you're planning calendars, food menus, all of that. Some sites do a good job of keeping up with it, but you want to go to the source of truth. So this is where you're going to be spending a lot of your time swimming in this cesspool known as the Walt Disney World website. And here's why. Okay, so we're at the splash page, right? Okay. You've got your standard 2 adults, 2 kids. What's the resort hotel that's populated automatically? You guys can see here.
Um, oh, Polynesian. That's weird.
Yes.
It was just there the whole time?
It was just there. We picked absolutely nothing.
Oh, geez.
So if you're here, yes, thank you. TPI, theme park intelligence. Exactly. Exactly. This is what we're doing here with this. You land on this page. It's like, okay, you see the commercial. Go to the website. You can plan a trip. Okay, I've got, 2 adults, 2 kids. Let's go view rates. But what you don't see, they put you to Polynesian. So let's say we didn't see that for the resort hotels. We just want to plan a trip. And I'll tell you what, we're gonna be big no, we're not gonna be big ballers. We'll just say, hey, I want to go the week of the 4th of July. And the reason why I picked that is the summer is usually kids are out of school. People usually go 4th of July weekend. That's a big weekend for like family reunions, etc. and so on. So we're going to pick that. So now we'll review the rates. Okay, we did not purposely pick that. Disney dropped the sucker on us. So you would have to literally move that if you wanted to find a cheaper resort. But we'll just go with it. We'll just go with it.
That's interesting.
This hotel is currently undergoing construction and refurbishments. Yeah, for that ugly ass tower that they put over there. But anyway, okay, so 2 adults, 2 children, Polynesian resort. So, which offers would you like to see? There's nothing here for the room. Although I always advise people if you're going to get a Disney reservation, do room only, less stipulations. Here's a package. Stay longer and save more on room. So apparently at this one, savor a delicious deal. The summer stay and play and save with this package offer. Summer room offer for Florida residents. But we'll go with the one that they gave us. Minimum stay consecutive May through September. Ooh, that's interesting that's available for the for 4th of July. Okay. No, I don't. I love Flora, but no, I don't need you to chat with it's a chat bot. Okay. Most likely if it's a live person, it's not a live person in the US. I'll tell you that much. So let's see. Stay longer, save longer. Yeah. All right. So here we go, guys. So here, standard price $744 a room, resort view. stay longer, save longer. So it's interesting they're putting the deals up here next to each other, but this is just the room and we're just getting started. Water view is $834. Theme park view, okay, completely booked out, which makes sense because over the 4th of July, the theme park view is the first one that's going to go. However, even if you got your, what do they call it? Resort view. What happened to garden view? Oh, okay. They changed garden view to resort view as if you're going to get to look at the resort. I'm trying to figure out how they do this. It's okay. So it's not the Disney resort. People will see this and they'll probably think, hey, it's a view of the Magic Kingdom, right? No, it's not. Basically, it's the garden, the parking lot. I don't know if they're gonna, yeah, you would get a view possibly of the monorail. So that's pretty much it. You're not gonna get, like, say, the water view. Water view is if there's any view of the water, even if it's obstructed by those little shacks on the what is it, the $5,000 a night shacks that they've got on the water there. Quite possibly. What's the deal? So water, yeah, it could be obstructed. You could see a little bit of water over retention pond. The theme park view, which used to be the lagoon view, okay, but they created the theme park view so they could price you more money. So that's, of course, where you can see the Magic Kingdom and the Seven Seas Lagoon, all that lovely stuff, but that's actually booked out. But wait, there's more. You got the deluxe studios. Oh, this is the Polynesian, the Ugly Tower, Ron. So apparently you can book rooms at the Ugly Tower.
Wait, is that the Ugly Tower, or is that the other Pongo, whatever it's called, the other building?
Yeah, Polynesian villas and
Because
bungalows. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the deluxe studios of the old DVC building, or the one that was repurposed. Island Tower should specifically say Island Tower.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, Island Tower.
And I'm saying that because those are the rooms that when I first worked for DVC, I actually helped open those rooms, and we stayed in one to test it. And it's a good thing we did, because the shower door was 3 inches off the ground, which means that all the water was flowing right into the bathroom. So there's one of the things that I had to let them know, hey, you got to fix this before you guys open. But it was fun. We had a good time. We didn't pay for it because I was working for the company.
Aldo, you're right. They're very sneaky. Looking at a wall would be a resort view. And this is where looking at sites that I recommend, like mousesavers.com, they're perfect. They will actually break down what this particularly means, what Disney's trying to sell you, and what the reality of it that it is.
I could tell people the best hint on the show to get the best thing that you want when you book. Book the cheapest room, and the day of that you get there and you check in, do not do auto check-in. Go to the front desk and say, I don't know if you guys can do anything for me or not, but my so-and-so is having a such and such. In other words, we're celebrating our 50th birthday today. If there's anything that you can do to improve our room view, we'd appreciate it. That's literally the best way to, I hate to say it, but that's the best way to get anything. I have personally experienced it before myself, when they have helped me to upgrade not the room that we paid for, but they like at Beach Club, we were put into a water view room that was, I want to say, 3rd or 4th floor, and it looked right over Crescent Lake, and it was gorgeous. It was like, what a perfect spot. Animal Kingdom, I stayed there, and we stayed in a DVC deluxe villa, which is basically a hotel room with a kitchenette. And when we stayed there, what was the room? It was a weird title to it. It was something with a blocked view, right? That's what it was called. But what
Mhm.
you actually got, and this was really cool, it was a feeding alcove. So while it technically wasn't a safari view, it backed up to a feeding area where every animal from the safari came to eat breakfast. So in the morning, we had the giraffes walking over, we had ostrich, we had the emus, we had whatever the heck the other animals are called. And so a
Mhm.
lot of times you don't realize, like, when you're paying more for the views that they have asked you on the website to pay more for, you may not be getting what you want. But actually, when you pay less, if you pay, let's say you pay for a resort view or a parking lot view, and you have low expectations, when you get there, those expectations can be pleasantly subverted. Whereas if you pay more for the view you want, you're not as likely to get what it's very strange. I'm
It's
like, Lorraine's probably experienced it. It's
Yeah, you
strange.
make a very good point, because what happened, and I'd actually done this. There was one time when I did book a theme park view because I love the Tuvalu Longhouse. So that was like a special treat. We booked the Tuvalu Longhouse. There's nothing in front of it. Well, we sure didn't used to be until they built the Island Towers. But for just a regular bog standard, when it wasn't super expensive to book the Polynesian, I booked a regular garden view room, and I got upgraded to a club level room in the Hawaii building
Oh,
because
wow.
they needed somebody else, I guess, who was going to pay more money to stay in that room. And yeah, I got upgraded to concierge. It was the coolest because you had like this concierge area, and it's like 2 stories in the Hawaii building at the Polynesian, and we had the best view of the New Year's Eve fireworks. Because I remember Camera
Oh,
Girl was little, she had her pajamas on, and I was working on my laptop, and we just watched like the fireworks with no one in front, and it was great. And Aldo says, for example, when we went to Aulani in October, we asked for a beach view instead of a street one. Our room was parallel to the beach, facing it, but blocked by rooms perpendicular to the beach. And also, it was the exterior side of the hall, so we couldn't even see the inside of the resort, if that makes
mm.
sense. Yeah, they'll do it. So it's like you have to keep those things in mind. And I pretty much do whenever, if you're booking on Disney, it's like I usually book the lowest level room possible. Uh, because yeah, there is a chance that you could get bumped up. Not guaranteed.
And none of
Sometimes
that
out
stuff's
of the
guaranteed.
goodness, no, it's not guaranteed. Like at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, I booked a regular room at the Animal Kingdom Lodge because I couldn't afford a Savannah view. And when we checked in, I asked the cast member, I said, is there a way we can get like a room that's kind of quiet, because I'm traveling with someone with special needs. And without asking, and it was funny because she lowered her voice when she said it, because there was this really obnoxious guest next to me trying to hustle an upgrade. She was just like, I put you in a Savannah View room. And I was
Really?
like, what? And yeah, she like upgraded us. So we got a room, a Savannah room in the Animal Kingdom Lodge. Again, this stuff it's not guaranteed at all. And I was just appreciative when it happened.
Here's the way you can get the room you want at Animal Kingdom Lodge. When you check in, be overly demanding that you want a view of Old Town. You say, listen, I want to be able to see the Fun Spot Sky Coaster from my room, darn it. And they'll be like, oh no, I'm not doing that for you. I'm putting you in a Savannah view. I'm kidding, by the way. Don't nobody do that.
Just saying, you can see it from up in the parking lot. But let's see, where are we here? 4-day tickets with admission to one park per day. Okay, at least they did one park per day. Let's see, 3 ages 10. Okay, so we got 3 adults, 1 kid. Okay, you're already at this much for the
Good
week.
Lord, how many days?
This is for 7 nights, 8 days. So we're staying for a whole week.
Okay.
Over 4th of July weekend. But we're just getting started here. There's no food.
You're the people staying over the 4th of July.
Yes. Yes.
Because nobody else is.
No one else. If you're from out of town, this is kind of how I'm pricing it. So I'm using my brain from when I didn't live here. Okay. When you're coming in from out of town, usually people will stay a week, especially if you're from the Northeast. This is usually when you're staying. It's over 4th of July weekend. So for folks coming out of town, they are staying for usually for a week. So let's see. We've got, oh, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Okay, so they put the ticket for 4 days. My stay is longer than this. So they did this for 4 days. Okay, that's interesting. 1 park per day. Here we go. 1 park per day. Remember, they fixed it at a 4-day ticket. $7,042.46. Park hopper.
That's insane.
$7,447.14. Water park and sports option, which I've never used, at $73. You have your park hopper plus, which includes all of the parks. That's $75. $7,532.34. Again,
you haven't added. No
That's
dining.
4 nights.
No.
This is for the whole thing, and I don't think taxes are included in this.
I'm assuming you have not done Lightning Lane or Premier Lightning Lane,
nope.
Multipass, or the dining plan yet, right?
Nope. We haven't done any of that yet. Only thing we have now is the room.
Isn't the dining plan included?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
You're booking in the summer though, right?
Yep.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
It's 4th of July weekend.
I'm on the EU site, and I'm following your lead, and it's the differences are kind of interesting because they're offering for EU residents free dining, and I did a mock booking for the weekend of 4th of July.
That's usually how it works with, like, especially from people visiting from the UK, they will get different offers akin to what you're saying, Erica.
And typically much better offers. The offers for people to come in from the UK, they really incentivize that. They get a lot more free dining too than people from the United States. And there's different ways that they do it, because sometimes instead of the dining plan, they get dining vouchers, which is by the way, as a server, we hated these things, but they're dining cards. Let me tell you why we hate these things is because they give the dining cards to groups, like cheerleaders and stuff. And so a cheerleader will pay for 1 meal with 8 dining cards, and you have to ring every single one of those dining cards as a separate payment. And and then if you get 8 people at a table and they're like, oh, we're all paying individually and we're all paying with our 8 dining cards, you're like, okay, so I have 64 cards to run for one freaking table. There are I when I was a server, I used to want to write a book about etiquette when you're dining out and say, please don't be this person when you're dining out, because people that are dining out, they have the opposite point of view. They're like, no, I want to tip as little as I possibly can, get away with as much as I possibly can, use it it's let me tell you, that's like a war. There's like a war between servers and guests when it comes to that kind of stuff. For example, one of the things that people love to do when they're dining out is, I love to be the last person in the park and get that last dining reservation at 9:50 and then stay till 11:30 and then leave the park at midnight, and it's an empty park and I get a ticket. Your server hates you. Let me just tell you, if you do that, if you're that person that made the server stay an hour and a half later
There's an easy way to remedy that because I've been that person. You know what it's called?
Oh, tip them well. Tip them well.
Yes.
That's it.
That's exactly
It is
what you
good.
do. You treat them as if, dude, you are working the best. Let me let your manager know that you are taking really good care of us and you freaking overtip them.
Yes.
That is exactly how you handle that.
Then you're good to go.
Yeah. Then it's like, okay, it's, it's worth it. I got a great group. They, they loved me. They, they overtipped me. You walk out like, man, I didn't want to take that table, but I'm glad I've got it. That is how you do that. So again, this trip that with this mock booking we have 6 nights and 7 days, and they are only pricing us for a 4-day ticket. Now, your person just booking doesn't see that. They're like, oh, that's going to be the whole trip, right? No, not really. So let's continue.
So now you have to add more days to your tickets, right? And then you have to possibly,
but they haven't. Yeah, but they haven't told you that yet. They haven't told you they told you it's for 4 days, but your regular person who just is booking at the site hasn't really made that connection that the tickets are only for 4 days instead of 7, but we're going to get to that. So here they're saying select a dining plan. I am not a huge fan of the dining plan. Again, you have to run the numbers, but here's pretty much it. In exchange for Disney getting your money in advance, they're going to give you a quote unquote discount. So if you don't use all of those meals, guess what? That's just too bad. They are going to keep
and
your
the
money.
Snacks.
Yes.
And the snacks. Because how many posts do you see whether it's X or whatever group you're in, Facebook? Hey guys, I have such and such number of snack credits left. Does anybody want to help me use? It's like you always see that people that the people that have the money, they don't mind buying the dining plan and they don't mind giving away some of the meals, and that happens too. But you got to really watch it with the dining plan and make the best use out of it. And as a former server at Disney, let me tell you one of the things that people always did that I could not believe. I'm like, you can do this if you want. But when I worked at Yak and Yeti, for the dining credit for your meal there, you could choose the $16 sweet and sour chicken, or you could choose the $38 ribeye. It's the same credit. You already paid for the ribeye, so why would you want the $15 sweet and sour chicken? You can't get 2 of them, you can only get 1, but the ribeye is literally more than twice expensive, and you can get that. So when people had the dining plan, I was really, really surprised. Like, I was one of the servers that was like, hey, just to let you know, you can get the ribeye. It's just...
Yes,
we were one of the...
Oh, go ahead, Rebecca.
Yeah, we always did that. I always manipulated our the only reason why I got the dining plans in the past was so we could eat the more expensive food items. Because I knew that, going cheap, it wasn't worth it. But if you want to have the nicer dining experiences and you want that steak, or seafood, you've already paid for it. So go for the higher quality food that's more expensive that you're otherwise not going to be able to afford in a theme park. And yeah, we did that all the time. And it was a nice little workaround. And as for the snacks, depended, there were times where I would just collect snacks to take home.
Yeah.
Like the prepackaged.
Same.
But then there were times where, or there were times where you wanted something on the spot right then and there, like ice cream. You can't really take that with you. But you could kind of really manipulate even the snacks to kind of collect snacks as souvenirs to take home with you.
That's what we
But
used
this
to
is back
do.
when the dining plan, I feel like, offered more. They had like
free
2 snack options and like 3 meals. I mean, you could really kind of collect snacks over the course of a stay. I think it's only one snack now is all they
Yeah,
offer.
they've cut it down to one. It used to be 2 snacks, and they cut it down to 1. They've also cut down the quality of the steak cuts. That's the other thing that they've done. So before, when you could get the ribeye steak, now they've cut it down to where you get some other weird cut that's not as good. Some restaurants that used to be 1 dining credit are now 2 instead.
2, yeah.
And they've done that, like with Le
Ooh.
Cellier, that is not worth 2 credits.
Ooh.
The Yachtsman Steakhouse
I
is worth
manipulated
2.
that too.
I hear you, because
I doubled
Well-
up on our point. I would literally line up all of our points like day by day, and we only did signature dining when we would stay at Disney and do the dining plan because I wanted to eat at the finer restaurants that I knew the food was good, but we otherwise couldn't afford it because that bill would have come in at, you know, exceeding the 1 day cost of the dining plan.
Right.
Way over that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we always ate at like the really like nicer restaurants. The
Well, that
signature one. Well, back
and
I
then
don't. Are they
also
still called signature?
yes, they're still
Yes.
called signature. But also the other thing that you can do to manipulate the dining plan is use it either at shows, which unfortunately they only have the one show now, which is
Yeah.
Hoop to Do, or of course at the character dining experiences. So
That's
that's
what I was going to bring up, because if you, and this is how you get a 1-2 punch. Okay. Those of you with kids, those of you who want to do character meet and greets, these character dining experiences are your best freaking friend. And if you buy the dining plan, you can take care of that. The only thing that you have to pay on top, of course, if you want to get, which somebody always inevitably gets, I want the drink with the Tinkerbell blinking clip on it. That you got to pay extra for. That's understandable. And then pay your your tip in addition. But at these character dining experiences, the characters come up to you, especially at Chef Mickey. They'll have performances that'll go on. You'll see Goofy where he always goes in the wrong freaking door to go into the kitchen. You see that. The characters come around, they sign the autographs for you. Sometimes they'll come around to your table twice. I've had that happen, especially when Minnie Mouse recognized that we were at Chef Mickey for the second time. So she came around to see us. So you can get all this interaction. You don't have to buy the fast pass to stay in line. You don't have to hang around in line outside in the hot sun or whatever to meet the characters.
Yeah.
You can get these autographs and these meetups. Get them done.
While you're eating.
Boom. Out of the way. Oh,
Yep.
and the characters love when you bring autographed books from home, because I've done this where you get like the 4x6, for scrapbooking, the 4x6 cardstock. Get that, put that like on a key ring or something like that, or a binder ring. Have a Sharpie pen. They love Sharpie pens, and do that. They love those. So going down through here. Oh my gosh, hang on. Kiss My Grits. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat, my dear. Thank you. I gotta hook you up with the requisite clip here.
This is pathetic.
Join in, folks. It's yodeling time.
Here at Lester's.
Elephant green screen effect.
That will never get old. Hey, Lorena and panel, I just compiled a list of the movies that I would include in a revamped version of the Great Movie Ride, and have included them in the main chat in order of the ride through. Hope y'all agree. You know what? We're gonna have to check those out. So let's save those to look at when we wrap up this theoretical step through. So thank you so much for that $20 super chat. Kiss My Grits. You guys, all your support of the channel just I love it, and I so deeply appreciate it. Thank you so very much. So
And give
very
my best to Mel and Alice.
yes. Okay, so dining plan. All right, so no dining plan. Okay, there's no dining plan here. You're already at $7,500 for 4 days, one park per day, and a garden view room, or my favorite, the concrete jungle parking lot room at the Polynesian. This is the one we didn't select. This is the one that they select for us. So you've got the quick service dining plan, which is very easy to get your money's worth on the quick service dining plan. So you can get your 2 quick service meals, 1 snack or non-alcoholic drink, and 1 resort refillable mug per person. That used to be 2 snacks because I used to book
Mhm.
the quick service dining plan a lot. Very, very easy. There's captain cooks. Although, let's put it this way, you do not have to use the quick service plan where your hotel is. You can use it anywhere.
Any quick service, yeah.
Yeah. Anywhere to do that with. Captain Cooks is so freaking congested. They did not plan that eatery out right. You can go over to the Grand Floridian and pick something up from Gasparilla as well. And of course, you've got the resort refillable
And
mug.
no,
Mhm.
their macaroni and cheese is not the best on property at Gasparilla. I don't care what anybody says. It's not.
I've never had it. The fact that Camera Girl doesn't eat it. She loves macaroni and cheese. There's 2 places of macaroni and cheese she doesn't like, at Gasparilla and on the Disney Cruise Line. Her quote was, "It doesn't look right." That was her.
There you go.
So that's if you get the quick service. Okay, we're at $8,900. Okay, where we are right now. $8,900.
Get the full.
Yeah, if you get the Disney dining plan, okay. 1 table service meal, 1 quick service meal, 1 snack or non-alcoholic drink, 1 1 resort refillable mug drink per person, drink mug per person, plus redeem your meals for special dining experiences, including character dining. Now, what they don't tell you is that some of those experiences are
Are 2.
2 table service credits, but they're
They
not
used
telling
to
you
tell
this
you
right
that.
now. Yeah, I know, right? They used to
Yeah, they
spell it out.
used to it was right it used to be right there on the website, and it made it easy to basically manipulate your points if you wanted to eat more higher dining or if you didn't. And you had those options and you had that flexibility.
Well, also in the old days, when you paid for the dining plan, your gratuity was actually included in that. And those
Mhm.
servers, when there's been a long period, and people still think this, the tip, the gratuity is not included. So what you are supposed to do when you do have the dining plan now is price out what your meal would have been, which there's a receipt that usually shows you and gives you an idea of what
Mhm.
that tip should be, and then tip according to that on the spot, even though your dining plan pays for the meal. But I'm telling you, I want to say most don't do it, but a lot of people don't do that. And so servers have been begging for them to re-add that figure into the dining plan because you know, it makes sense. People don't want
Yeah.
to pay extra. People don't want to budget for tips. If your whole idea behind doing the dining plan is, hey, I just want to make this easy, it's paid for, it's out of the way, when I go I don't have to think about it,
Yeah.
then you would
Just
want to
include
be
it.
able to pay your gratuities ahead of time, like you can do on a cruise, right? Because on a cruise you
Mhm.
can pay all your gratuities ahead of time, and then if you
Mhm.
want to give your room concierge or whatever a little bit extra, you can. But it's weird.
2-liter fire energy. Sorry, last week
Golly.
I was telling people the story. I kid you not. Uh, I think it was at Art Event. No, it was at Pop Century. And this lady rolled up into the food court with a 2-liter bottle and filled that 2-liter bottle up with soda for the food court. That was before they now have the cups with the RFID. And if that machine cannot read the RFID, soda does not come out. That's what they've done from now on. So tell you what, we will pick this one just to be funny. Okay, so we're at $9,800 now. Okay, $9,800. This is where we are right now. This is where we are right now.
Sorry, but for $9,800, I do not have a Woody.
Oh, all right. Stay longer and save more. This is what they're saying. Okay, so we are at the Polynesian Village Resort. They call it Resort View, which we're going to call the parking lot view. Okay, either the parking lot or the gardens. 4-day ticket with Park Hopper Plus option. So wait, I don't remember selecting that one. Maybe I skipped it. No, I do not want the Park Hopper Plus option. I swear it picked that, or maybe I clicked it. I don't know. But we'll just say one theme park per day. There's a reason why I do that. I used to do park hoppers, but the more trips that I took, the more I realized the park hopper really was not in the best interest of my family. And especially if you have younger children, park hopping is really not your friend. So let's see. Okay, so I got that down to $9,300 by going to one ticket per day. And remember, you can always change your reservation. See, here's a little tip they don't tell you. So if you do one park a day, literally you can show up at Disney and be like, you know what? Just roll up to the concierge desk and say, you know what? I think I would like a park hopper ticket instead. Oh, real easy. You just pay the difference. Boom. Your tickets are upgraded. Because when you buy these packages, you have to put down, I think it's like a $250 deposit. Yeah. And then the rest is due, I think, within 30 days.
Before your check-in date.
Yep. So you can I think the dining plan, you have to, if you don't want the dining plan, I think you have up until a week before you arrive to add the dining plan. Of course, it's payable right then and there when you do it, but that is a way to stretch your budget. You do not have to add that.
Do you still only have 4 park days?
Yep.
Okay, so you still don't have all your park days.
Nope.
Tickets if you wanted to add. Okay.
Which is interesting that they're doing this, because usually they would give you, do you guys know what's open during that time period? What park is going to be open during that time period? Maybe it's been a long time since I've been on the site, but usually they would give you a ticket analogous to the number of days of your stay. So while I booked a 6-night, 7-day stay, I should have been given the option of a ticket, like defaulted to a 7-day ticket. Interesting how it didn't do that.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure out why it didn't do that.
Yeah, that doesn't.
So this is a 7-day vacation, and they only put in a 4-day. That's interesting. I wonder why.
4-day ticket. That is new.
Now, wait do we get all of these different potential add-ons? Oh my gosh.
Yep, kiss my grits, and what you've priced doesn't even include airfare, gas, parking, shopping,
car
luggage,
rental if you choose to rent.
Exactly.
Or Uber.
My biggest issue with the dining plan was always that you cannot buy a dining plan for an individual. In other words, when you add the dining plan, every single person in your party has to be on that dining plan. In other words, if you have a light eater in your group, you still have to pay the same amount for that light eater as you would for a heavy eater. That's why typically I will tell most families, if they have if they're not all big eaters, you might not want the dining plan because it will be a really good amount of food, but if you're not going to eat it all, you're paying for you're paying for a lot more than what you're going to get. Especially if you have, let's say that you have 2 adults and your kids happen to be 10, 12, and 14. But even at 14, they haven't entered that stage of heavy eating yet, and they still eat like they would normally eat off a kids menu. You just pay for 5 adult dining plans. Think about that, because once your kid is 10, they have to be on the adult dining plan, which is crazy.
Let me add something else, especially the kids. Okay, here's something they also don't tell you about the dining plan up front. If you have the dining plan and you have like young kids, they are restricted to only what is offered on the kids menu with the dining plan. So it's not like back in the day, and I actually had this happen where we were on the dining plan. This was back in the golden era of the dining plan. And camera girl nor her cousin wanted anything really that was on the kids menu. The cast members graciously suggested that they could get them peanut butter and jelly or a hamburger if they wanted. And that's what they got for me. So they did that. This was before that whole restriction about the kids menu. So if you want to get the value that you paid for, you are restricted to what is offered on the kids menu for the kids. If not, you're going to have to pay out of pocket. And that's not something that they tell you. Not if you have some kids who have very refined palates or really, really picky. After a couple of days, they're going to get really sick and tired of looking at chicken nuggets for some kids anyway. So I'm just saying that's something that some parents have run into. But Ron is right. When you purchase a dining plan, you can't just purchase it for one person. You have to purchase it for everybody. So one of the suggestions that I make to people, remember how I was saying the Disney website is your best weapon for theme park intelligence? All of the menus for the restaurant are listed on the website. So you can come up with a baseline amount of how it's going to cost per day for the restaurants you want to stay at. Like one figure that I use is, okay, about $100 a day for each person to eat in your party. If you put that money in a savings account, you have that money set aside and you don't have to use a dining plan and pay for stuff that you don't think you're going to use. So that's another thing that you can do. So no, we do not want the memory maker capture and share all of your Disney photo pass and videos from your vacation. Okay, I'm so old. I remember when this sucker was included on a DVD and I still have them. Yep, I still have them. That sucker used to be included. So you could get like all your photo pass pictures, and then at the end you get them like on DVD. No, they want you to pay for that. But you know what? We're gonna add this on here just to be funny. I don't want FOMO, but apparently Memory Maker is an extra $170. Remember, no selfie sticks allowed in the park. So that's for the memory maker. So we threw the memory maker on there. It's like, look, I want to get my pictures. All right, so we got the memory maker. So we are up to about $9,500. $9,500. Let's see. Do we want a car rental from Alamo?
No.
I hate Alamo. I do. They're one of the worst car
Is
rental places.
Is the ground transportation the Mears Connect that used to be the Magical Express? Is that what that is?
No, this is their ground transportation now is renting a car from Alamo.
Really?
So no Magical Express, although there are other transportation options. I'm forgetting what that one independent company is. It's really cool. They have different buses that are They look like trains, and they all have different. I think it's Sunshine Express, or something like that. So there's no
I
more
thought they
Magical
combined.
Express.
I thought that company combined with Mirrors Connect recently.
They did. Okay,
I could be
I knew it
wrong,
was
but I thought
that.
I thought they realized that the competition was like I don't know if Mirrors bought them. I'm assuming that's the way it would go. But
It,
yeah, they were
yeah,
cute looking. They look like little
well, they
train cars.
yeah, like little train cars, and they were, when they were going, and that looked cool. So that was
None of
kind
it
of like the
is
stopgap.
none of it is as cool as Magical Express. Like I know why
No,
like Magical Express, one of the reasons they got rid of it is because of the amount of cast members it took to make that work. Like it took you had to have cast members staged at the airport, you had to have cast members that drove the buses, you also had to have cast members staged at the hotels. When I was working there, I remember they have like all of the luggage cages where the buses would come up and then the luggage would go there. And then because you had to have cast members that facilitate all of this stuff, all this movement of
yeah,
your luggage,
I
because
remember.
the magical part of it was you could check your luggage at the airport and it would be in your room when you arrived, which is the coolest thing ever, and made Disney a very different company and made it worth it to take a Disney vacation over a Universal vacation. I mean,
Hmm.
that is a huge difference. So yes, it cost the company more money, but I guarantee you got more visitors. Everything the company is doing right now to save money now, in the long run, more and more people, I think, will turn away from Disney and turn to other, not just Universal, but just other forms of vacation. I mean, I know that if I wasn't living here now, of course, you and I live both by the parks. I would
Yeah.
think, you know what? Forget all this theme park stuff. I just want to go to Utah and see the Arches National Park with my family, or go to the ocean, or maybe for the same amount of money that I would spend at the Polynesian resort staying in the Bora Bora bungalows, I could fly to Bora Bora and stay in real Bora Bora bungalows. I mean,
Or
look at the
even
amount of money.
or even better, it's like, you know what? Let's just go to Key West. We'll just stay there in Key West, live the Key West lifestyle, for a week, or do something different. And that's why I price this like someone coming in from out of town, because 90% of the visitors that you get to Walt Disney World, you are coming from out of state. The park, the whole business model is set. Its foundation is sucking people down here from the Northeast. That was Walt's plan. When Walt, suggested this to Roy, how you going to pay for it? And Walt's like, well, we just got to have the people from the Northeast come down. And that's a whole industry of people from the Northeast coming down to visit Disney. So we're not gonna do a car rental. We'll just say, hey, I got Avis or something like that. I'll just rent one. Travel protection plan. So in case you have to cancel your trip after you've paid for it, this is when you're outside, when you've already paid, and let's say 2 days before the trip, guess what? You're sick, you can't go. You cancel that, Disney keeps your money. So you add this travel protection, and it'll do that. I personally have never used it, because I've always come under the impression where if we're sick, we're going to go. And I actually did have something happen. Camera girl got freaking pink eye literally the day before we left. So we had to go. So we literally went from Orlando International Airport to the Minute Clinic and went there so she could get treated. But I have never paid for that travel protection plan. You can get those, I think, from other insurance companies as well, from what I understand. Kiss my grits. I lived in Key West for 6 weeks during the pandemic, and it was the best 6 weeks of my life. Love that town. I can't wait to visit Key West. I keep putting it off, and I want to do it. It's it's a whole different kind of lifestyle, and it's real Florida, real weird weird Florida in a good way. So all right, so we don't need theme park reservations anymore for day and date tickets. They got rid of that. So here is our total amount right now. Okay. About $9,500, $200 deposit that's due today. Do not have transportation, spending money, uh, other incidentals.
What about lightning lanes?
There's no lightning lane.
Oh yeah,
here.
you can't add that until there's like a period before you come where you can add that, right?
Yeah, I think it's like is it 2 weeks or a week or something like that? Because it's priced, which makes sense because it's priced based on demand, and they can't forecast demand like say 5 months out, but
Well,
they
they
have enough
can.
data. Yeah, they could, but you know what? It would be too cheap because the window of certainty is it's not set yet. So 2 weeks before, yeah, they got a good idea of how much is available.
I'm waiting for that half off Premier Lightning Lane for pass holders to come here because I imagine it's going to eventually at some point in time. There will be periods throughout the year that they'll notify us pass holders, hey, guess what? We have a sale on Premier Lightning Lanes if you want to blah blah blah.
Exactly. Well, good luck, Aldo. Good luck to film your audition. Thanks for being here. We'll be thinking about you.
Aldo's journal. I need to get a hold of you for where you are because there are definitely projects I could get you in.
And let's see. Oh wow, Erica. So you said you're doing the sample booking on the EU site?
Yeah. And it's interesting how, because I'm comparing everything that you're saying, the booking on the EU side, when I did the mock booking for just 4 nights for a family of 4, and these are kids under 2, or I mean under 9. The dining plan was included, or you could upgrade to the other dining plan and pay for it. In total, that one came out to like just under like 5,000 after the exchange rate. But when I went in and modified it to your stats, to your mock vacation, it changed drastically. And some differences too is that when you were going to the hotel rooms, you had a lot more options than I did. It only gave me 3 room options, and that was like a basic standard room for Polynesian, the club level, and then some other more like the vice president, like presidential suite. That was it. It didn't give me any other room choices like what you had. So that was, and I don't have my VPN turned on either. It is the DEEU like site that I'm doing the mock booking. So I find it really interesting that I guess for someone here in Germany, like a German, it's like their options are more controlled than what the Americans get. But at the end result is still just as expensive. So all in all, it came out to $10,289. That's after the conversion rate. In euros, it was like 9,900 some odd, in euros. So it's
Wow.
even for a European, it's still astronomical. And yeah, that's not including the airline tickets, transportation when they get there, or getting to the parks at least, and then being basically fear-mongered into any of the lightning lane stuff, with that FOMO that Disney puts that FOMO pressure on families to buy into the lightning lane stuff.
Wow. Thanks for that. That's a very interesting perspective.
And it didn't offer the travel insurance. Nothing in there for travel insurance.
Really? Thank you, Tina.
Now
I thought it was blanking out. I think, yeah, I knew they had something third party that you could buy it.
Now, there is one last step here. I can book it. I'm kind of hesitant to actually book it, so I don't want to click on it. Maybe it'll give me that option if I click this last like book option, but I really kind of don't want to. I don't want to take the mock reservation that far because it is a live system. It may offer it at the very, very end when you're at the checkout, but I'm not going to go any further just because
I
I'm
hear
a little afraid to.
I hear you. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this 4-day ticket to a 7-day ticket. Now, the reason that I only do one park per day is that I can line up like my dining, everything, and it's a lot easier to just stick with one park, especially when you have young children. It's like, do you really want to hop to another park? Sometimes, especially cost wise, focusing on one park per day, you will actually get more done. Now, if you're one of those people who likes to park hop, that's perfectly fine. I'm just saying that usually from a cost effectiveness, it seems to cost less money if you're focused on just one park per day. So we're going to say 7 days. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ron.
I just wanted to add transportation between parks is not reliable if you're using Disney transportation.
Yes.
Just yesterday, I streamed from Magic Kingdom, and the idea I wanted to stream Magic and Epcot both. So of course I parked at Epcot. I parked at 8:30. My stream was supposed to begin at 9:30. I parked at 8:30 at Epcot. I did not arrive. I got through security rather fast at Epcot. I think it was like 8:45 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as I was walking up to the monorail was pulling out, which means I didn't get on the monorail that was pulling out, which means I had to wait 12 minutes just for that next monorail to arrive, which meant about 20 minutes before that monorail left. Then that monorail stopped about 3 times along the track on the way to the Ticket and Transportation Center. Not even Magic Kingdom yet. So you have to remember, when you're going from Epcot to Magic, you got to stop at the Ticket and Transportation Center and switch to a different vehicle, whether it's another monorail or a bus or a boat. And so, yeah, all of that transportation that in your car would take 5 minutes took over an hour with free Disney transportation.
That is the reason
losing
why Lyft and Uber are crazy lucrative here. So rather than, first of all, they offer the minivan service. That's Lyft. Most people I know, they'll just split the money and get an Uber. Because you cannot, you can't really rely on Disney transportation. They'll say about an hour. I usually put 90 minutes in there just to do it, because there's so many people who have missed their reservations when they're just like, oh, I just thought it would take 30 minutes to get here. Nah. Disney transportation is moving on their time, not your time. And you're right, Go and Shogi. Park hopper isn't worth it if you aren't familiar with the parks and their layouts. Absolutely. Yeah. And Liam says, I don't think Disney understands the wealthier people expect a better experience to match the price. That's a good one. I'm not paying that much to see broken down rides and dirty washrooms and trash. 100%. Yeah. I agree with you.
The wealthy have very high standards because they know that they're wealthy, which is why a lot of them opt to have more luxurious vacations than that of a theme park vacation. They will take their kids to Europe to see the real thing. And they'll do the European theme parks as an add-on, while they're immersed already in the culture and in the food of that country. Yeah, it's a totally different gig when you have, like that amount of money and that amount of disposable income to spend like that.
There's a certain level of luxury, and I used to follow, I haven't in a while, where it was, luxury at Disney. And hey, Emily Kruger, depending comparison to what people would expect luxury wise, like for example, the Four Seasons or the Ritz-Carlton. Those are two very different. You compare that to the Grand Floridian, no. Grand Floridian is nowhere near that level. Like I've stayed at a Ritz-Carlton, and I've stayed at the Waldorf Astoria in New York. It's a very different experience. I haven't gone to the one here. I've seen it. It's in Bonnet Creek, but it's a totally different experience. You can see the Four Seasons or the Waldorf bus. I've seen it. I've seen it. It is gorgeous. I will have to do a deep dive one day of the Four Seasons and the Waldorf Astoria on Disney property. It's a totally freaking different experience. You know, when you're waiting there for your Disney bus, next thing you know, the Waldorf Astoria bus pulls up, and it's nice too. It's just like a nice party bus, and it's a different level. And I agree, the Redley would much rather stay at the Four Seasons, the Ritz, than any of the Disney resorts. It's a different level of stay. That is for sure. That is for sure. Okay, so let's see. Back to my reservation here, so we can wrap up. So I'm gonna say one park per day. But changing that to 7 days. Now we're up to over $10,000. Hey Charles, good to see you. Security Deb, good to see you as well. It says, hey everybody, hello, hello, hello. And Security Deb, hey, says brother-in-law taking his family of 4 to Disney in May. Whew, costing him over $15K. We're not far off. Here we go. Tried to talk him out of it and go to Universal. Yeah, Deb, I hear you. You know what? Your brother-in-law is probably going to have that moment like I had in 2018 when I stayed at the Grand Floridian. And even with the upgrade that I didn't ask for, it was one of the worst trips that I had because of just the lack of value. So hopefully you'll have to let us know what he thought of his stay. Like this, I've never spent this much to stay at the Polynesian. I've paid half that much to stay at the Polynesian.
The price has gone up a lot in the last 5 years. A ton.
It is insane. And it's not like, let's put it this way, even for people who could easily afford the Polynesian, like when I was working, the price got to the point where a lot of us were just like, screw this, we'll go stay at the Pop Century. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. People who have that amount of disposable income, the value isn't there to stay at the deluxe. So we'll go crowd the darn value resorts and book those up. I can't tell you how many luxury cars I've seen parked at like the Pop Century and Art of Animation. And they're just like, no, we're not paying that amount. It's absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. And thank you, Go and Shogi, for that $4.99 super chat. I sure as heck do appreciate it. Let me hit you with this one.
Broke into the old apartment, 42 stairs from the street.
Dang, I freaking love that. For what they're charging, they better be shaving truffles on my pillow.
Right?
I know, right?
Jeez.
For that much money? Holy crap. I'm just like $10,000. Okay, we have the regular dining plan, the Disney dining plan. Okay, we have that. 7-day ticket, 1 park per day, and and the memory maker, because we don't want to miss out on the FOMO, so I want the pictures with the magic shots and all of that stuff and everything. I want all that. So we are at $10,000.
Is this
$10,000.
Is this 3 or 4 people, Lorena?
This is for 4 people. So this is
4,
for 3 adults. Well, one child classifies as an adult because when you hit 10 years old, guess what? You got to pay the adult prices. And for a child 3 years old and up. Children under the age of 3 are free. Yes, a lot of CMs are suspect when they see a kid that looks like they're older than 3 years old. I've heard guests like trying to say I'm lying. What do you think? I brought a gift, a birth certificate with me. With the way that CMs are now at the park, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring a copy of the birth certificate.
No. Listen, if you go to the park, let's say that your child is 20 years old. You just say, look, this person identifies as a 2-year-old. You have to honor that. You have to honor that they identify as a 2-year-old. How can you not be inclusive?
It's too freaking funny.
Oh
my gosh.
On top of that 10,000, let's just say that you want to make sure that you get on every ride that you want to get on. And so you want to do the Premier Lightning Lane. Now we know that the Premier Pass is anywhere from like $140 to $450 a day. So I just averaged it out at $250 a day per person. That's an extra $6,000 or $7,000 if you do that extra day. So I mean, like think about that. That's $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 for this vacation now. And you can't even price that out until a couple weeks before.
This is like a hot. Oh my god! Again, no flights, no airfare, gas,
no merch,
spending money, no merch. If you talk about spending money, I usually tell people tack on about 20% of what your 20% of what your total package is for the park. So spending money is like 10,000. What did I say? Oh man, there's no way I'm spending $2,000 on merch for that. Anyway, but still. And it doesn't include tip. Does not include tips for your sit-down meals at the park. And it's not for 3 meals, okay? You get 1 sit down. I mean, you can the credit, so you can like say use 3 one day and 2 another day. You can do that. But that's again the kind of hustling that you have to do with this. And 10,000. Like I said, the last time I stayed at the Polynesian, I spent half that money. And this is for a package. So if let's just say
I can't help but think of Jeannie going, $10,000 is such a crick in the wallet.
You got that right.
So true.
Oh.
But I'm going to change resorts here. I'm going to change resorts here to my absolute favorite resort. And I want to see, my favorite value resort. Let's see if there's even anything open. That's the other thing. So that was $10,000. So if we do this and we update the cart, so this is Little Mermaid room, $237 a night. I remember when this hotel was like a little bit over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A night.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And
I remember when the All-Stars, you could get them for $65 a night. And that wasn't
I
that long
remember
ago.
those days too. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the suites were more expensive, but they were like about, I want to say 30 to 40% more. So when the standard room was like $100, the suite was about $200. But with the suites, you get like a separate bedroom. You got 2 bathrooms. You had a kitchenette. That's the other thing. You have a kitchenette in the family suite. So for folks who have like 5 people or more, that's usually what they'll do. However, I always tell people, much cheaper to get adjoining rooms. Just get adjoining rooms, and that's actually cheaper. So we're gonna skip the suites, although I love the suites here. They're so cool, but you can't get discounts in the suite. So we'll say yes, we want to update it. Wait. This action will also remove any tickets, dining, Y'all couldn't spell dining right?
Is that dinning?
Dinning, yes. What's dinning?
Oh,
I
hey,
don't.
can I get the dinning plan?
Dinning plan? Is it cheaper?
Yeah. I don't want the Disney dining plan. I'm sorry. I want the Disney dinning plan.
Dinning plan. And,
Please.
I'm gonna put my IT hat on here, my user experience hat here. How dare you make me have to add this stuff all over again? It's not that hard for you to do this.
As you've said many times in the past, Lorena, Disney IT is the worst, the absolute
Oh,
worst.
it is. Disney IT is a joke. It is. Every time I would go on vacation, people I worked with in IT who would go on vacation and come back, we always had Disney IT horror stories. It's like, did you feel like you almost had to work on your vacation? I'm like, yes. I'm like, I'm on vacation. I'm not going to solve your problem, but I know what's wrong with it. It's a mess. Disney IT is like the biggest freaking joke. To
Yeah,
be
it sucks that you
fair,
can't go section by section and edit if you wanted to go back and edit just the tickets or just the hotel. And on the EU side, it was the same
yeah,
way. You have to do the whole reservation all over again if you want to make
yeah.
any edit.
Nope, I'm not blocking cookies. So even if I have the data objects, there should be some kind of thing to go on with the API that should be able to easily do that. I don't know. I'm just saying if I was doing this and they said, okay, how can we improve the experience? That would be number one on my list. Why the heck? That's a balking moment. If you get somebody who's just like, I'm not doing all that stuff again, boom, you just lost a potential sale. So just saying, for me, because I look at all this stuff anytime I'm in IT, because that's my specialty. I look at it how your user, how your customer would use the system. That's what they would do. Hire me as an editor. That's embarrassing. Dinning. You know what? That's what happens when you hire people from offshore to do
Got
your stuff.
desert on my dinning plan.
I remember the dinning plan. We went to the desert.
Need a vacation from the
Dinning.
vacation. Yes.
But
Oh man.
to be fair, we're down. Okay, so we're at
Oh, you know what? I think I realized what happened. I think that what happened is that Disney is now resorting to hiring the Griswolds to run their website, and that's why
You
the
mean
vacation is wonky. Yeah, cousin Eddie and his
many
family.
cousin Eddies?
oh, look, if we upgrade to a Disney hotel package and enjoy magical extras such as 4 rounds of mini golf, but you got to get there before 4 p.m., y'all.
They're trying to get people to
Interesting.
go to mini golfing before 4.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to get
Oh
you to
dear
go.
Lord.
So, yep. Okay. So you can enjoy admission to a Disney water park on check-in day. That's nice to do. You can go to the park. But anyway, the water park. So we're 5,000 now. Okay. So 5,000, blah, blah, blah. We said 7 days. So 7 days admission, Pop Century.
Here's the weird part about the whole luxury resort thing to me. It always has been. If I'm paying more for the resort, it's because I want to spend more time at the resort. But this is what is so weird is that the more money you pay for your resort, you're actually paying to spend more time away from that resort because that gives you more time in the parks. So if you stay now at the highest level resorts, the luxury resorts, you get that's the only way I think that you get what used to be called extra magic hours. I don't think it's called that anymore, right?
No.
It's just that extra early entry or whatever it is. But you only get that if you stay at the highest level of the resort. So you enjoy your resort less amount of time and you pay thousands more for it. It's so bizarre.
It really is. It really is. Now, here's the reason why I picked Pop Century. I mean, Art of Animation. Art of Animation has a sister resort, Pop Century. You can literally walk from one to the other, which means instead of one food court, you actually have two to choose from. So double the food courts, double the gift shops, double the poolside bars, or dare I say triple the poolside bars.
Pop Century gift shop is half closed right now.
Really?
Yes.
Renovation?
Refurbishment.
Oh, okay. Okay. So at least in that way, it's like, okay, that's under refurbishment. Guess what? I just walk over to the other one. Plus, you have Skyliner access. So you can take the Skyliner to Epcot. You can also take the Skyliner over to Hollywood Studios. So it's in a very, I would say, Art of Animation and Pop Century is literally one of those places where now, because of Skyliner, you have faster options to get to the park and within transportation. So although the Caribbean Beach Resort is the hub, the Caribbean Beach Resort is a moderate, which is priced more. Frankly, I think you can always get more of your money staying at either a value, or should you want to do it, a deluxe, or my favorite, splitting the stay. So you're like 3 days, no, like more like 5 days at a value and 3 days at a deluxe. To me, that's just what I do. Hey, Themeport Casual, good to see ya. Just listening on the drive home. Hope you're doing good, my dear. We're having fun talking about how the Disney website really tries to get you with that FOMO. So we're going to say quick service dining plan, unless if you're doing character meals. So we're going to guess Promo's probably doing a character meal. We'll do the Disney dining plan, one table service meal, one quick service meal, which you can do. I hate that that's at one snack, man, because one of my favorite things to bring back from a trip and to kind of extend the memories is I would get like the popcorn, the gold coins, the my favorite, the the Mickey Rice Krispie treat bars. I used to get a ton of those and bring those back. So we're at $7,396. So that's where we are.
And by the way, it looks like they still don't have the deluxe dining plan offered again, which was the one where you could have sit down breakfast, sit down lunch or dinner. And here's the funny thing with the deluxe dining plan. You could use one of those credits for quick service if you wanted to. Which I guess would happen if for some reason you didn't use all of your dining credits and you're like, oh, I got some left, I better do some quick service and take it home with something. I don't know, but yeah, there were, when I just prior to the COVID shutdowns in 2020, there were 4 dining plans available. And I don't know how many people remember that. It's because I want to say it was only 3 or 4 weeks prior to the COVID shutdown, they had released a new dining plan option. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like this combo option thing where there was quick service and table service, but it wasn't the mid-level thing. It was I can't remember exactly what it was, but it is interesting that it took them forever even to bring back any version of a dining plan. At least 2 years, right? I think
at least 2 years. I think they were in a way forced to, because there's some people who will not book unless there's a dining plan, which can work out. Again, it takes time and it takes effort. But if it turns out that it's like, hey, it's cheaper for us to do a lot of these character meals if we have a dining plan, some folks want book. Or my other favorite, people were waiting for free dining, which is not free. You're paying for the room. You're paying rack rate for the room. That's how they do it. You have to kind of do the math. But let's see here. We went through this. No ground transportation. So let's add the memory maker. So we don't want to. We want to have our phone. We don't want to have FOMO. We want to get those magic shots. I don't want to have to hold the camera. Here's another money-saving tip. You can ask one of the PhotoPass cast members to use your camera to take pictures of you.
True.
Yeah. You can do that. You won't have the magic shot pictures. But here's the other thing. If you've already got Disney admission, you just get it put on your ticket. You know, the PhotoPass cast member can do that. Put on your ticket. You can look at the shot and see if you want it and pay a la carte. You can do that. You can do that as well.
Is that one does that add 160 for the length of your stay though? Like, is it one price, but it's for the entire length of your stay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I would at least say that's a better value than it would be if they wanted to charge $99 a day or something like that, which so many of these other things are. So as far as Memory Maker, if your stay is a pretty decent length of stay, that if you're staying for 7-8 days, the Memory Maker might actually be one of the best values on here for all this, because there are PhotoPass photographers everywhere. One of the best ones that people miss out on is at the Grand Floridian. Even if you're not staying at the Grand Floridian, you can have a very, very nice family, like a family photo, like your annual family photo.
That's on the second floor, right?
On the second floor, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You can be holding the glass slipper if you want. That is part of your PhotoPass package. You can anywhere there is a PhotoPass photographer, and they are all over. So that is probably one of the things you can really take advantage of if you purchase that. If you do that, take advantage of it and get your picture taken. Get the magic shots and I love this one. You've actually seen it in my intro. Don't tell Disney. But where they take a close up of you, and then in the magic shot it moves back and you see the castle and you see everything in the background, and then it zooms back in on you. That's one of my favorites, because those cameras are like up high on some building way over in the background. So those particular things on the Memory Maker, that could be it's certainly a better value than the dining plan most of the time. So it's if I were planning a vacation from outside, and especially if it were maybe my only Disney vacation, I would certainly prioritize Memory Maker over dining plan. But that's just me.
I would agree with that, because at least with the dining plan, again, remember the dining plan, they're trying to get as much money from you up front. And the dining plan is always something that you can add as long as it's within a week of you arriving. Or, like I said, better yet, look at the menus, see how much, it would cost on average for your whole family to dine there, and just put that money aside. And you just have that style of money. What's the worst that could happen? You don't go and you got a pile of money sitting somewhere.
On the EU side, it didn't even give me the option for Memory Maker, which was, and I was looking for it. Yeah, unless there again, it's at the checkout or like an extra add-on when you're checking out. It's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, I was surprised that in the planning process, when you're clicking on what you want, it didn't bring up the travel insurance, and it didn't bring up Memory Maker. So I don't, unless it's just different for Germans, maybe they offer. Maybe Disney offers something different for Germans than for like the Brits. I don't know. But I would assume that all throughout Europe, it's just the EU website, unless there are specific DE and UK websites. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say my very quick dining tip, by the way, if you do happen to be coming to, if you are going to pay the $7,500 or $15,000 or whatever to come here, if you plan on eating at any of the Landry's restaurants on property, that would be T-Rex, Rainforest Cafe, or Yak and Yeti in the Animal Kingdom theme park. One, you don't need to make reservations for those restaurants. In lieu of making reservations, become a member of the Landry's Club for, I think it's either $25 or $35 up front, but you get that money back off of your first meal that you purchased immediately. So it's basically free, but they make you pay up front. So you have a commitment. Once you're a member for life. You get a free $25 birthday gift every single year. But also, when you have your card, I don't have my wallet here, and you show your card, there you will always get in. You do not need a reservation. So if you're at Yak and Yeti and they're booked, which they are probably, and you show your card, there's a special line for you to go in, and that you'll probably not wait 15 minutes to get seated. And that's true for T-Rex and for people will hate you. People will hate you because at T-Rex, I've seen it where there's a long line and I walk up and I present my Landers card and I get seated within 10 minutes and people are like, ah, you're like, I got a card, people.
Well, so the difference I would say here is that it's about a differential of like, let's say 70, 80, 90, look like $2,500, which is no small chunk of change. So $2,500 difference between staying at the Pop Century and staying at the Grand Floridian. And one of the quote unquote, not as much of an advantage, but it is there. If you stay at a deluxe resort, guess what? You get those evening magic hours. Remember those magic hours everybody used to have access to? 3 hours, at night to stay for extra magic hours nights. Well, they no longer have that at the value and the moderates. That's only going to be at the deluxe. But either way, I have never paid this amount of money at a value resort for a week. I paid $5,000 at a value resort, but that was everything. Like when I included meals, when I included our transportation, all of that. So that was manageable. But this is it's crazy. And you see, I had to go back and actually, like, I literally had to actively select a value resort.
And there's no fast passes. There's no lightning lane, multi-pass or single pass or premier pass added on to that. So with that price, you've paid $7,500 and people are still able to get in line in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's exactly it.
You got to wait 75 minutes to get on Peter Pan, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're like me, and you head to Spaceship Earth and it says a 25-minute wait, you get on in 9 minutes like I did yesterday when it was purposefully listed as a 25-minute wait on the marquee and on the app. And I'm like, but there's no line. So we timed it because I was on a live stream and it was like 9 minutes I got on the ride.
9 times out of 10, that's like what'll happen. I forget one time, I think there was a posted wait of 30 minutes at the Haunted Mansion. I'm like, no, this is not 30 minutes. We got there in like 10. And they do that. They do that to make you balk. And they can do this now because of the reservation system that they have. And because the wait times, they're all electronically connected. So if they want you to balk from a ride and go to one that seems less much of a wait, Disney will do that. And I have noticed that with the posted wait. So when you see a posted wait, I take that with a very, very, very small grain of salt. But yeah, Disney, this is definitely a yes. It's not as affordable as it used to be for American families. They're trying to make it a luxury experience when it's anything but a luxury. But again, your best way to hedge your bets when booking on the Disney website, or even if you're going to book through a travel agent, is to know your options, know what it is that you want to do and you want to get done. Because if you do not have a plan and you go to Disney's site, they're going to fleece you like crazy. So
another, just trying to put this in the nicest way. When you go through a travel agent, the travel agent will tell you the travel agent is not charging you, and they're not. They are absolutely a free service. However, remember that their job is they do get commission from Disney for everything that they sell you. So if a travel agent sells you a premier lightning lane, they are going to get a commission on that. So it's in the travel agent's best interest to get you to buy as much as you possibly can, because that's how they're going to make more money. But I also know this about being a Disney travel agent. They actually make their most money on booking Disney cruises rather than Disney vacations. So they usually will be pretty good about working with you to get you what you want. But just remember that it's in the agent's best interest to get you to spend as much as possible on your Disney vacation. So
Now I know why mine wound up she quit a couple of years ago. Made me really sad because she understood me. Like she was such a good travel agent. She would say, "Oh yeah, by the way, a discount came out, so I just upgraded your reservation." And she would tell me the kind of crap that she had to go through to set things, to do things for for her clients. So I think she wound up leaving right around when Disney just started getting really weird and making things harder for travel agents. She's like, you know what? I think I'm done. I almost started crying because
yeah, but it's so weird, like, because I have my Disney travel agent, good friend of mine. If I'm going to book a cruise or something, I'll go through him. But it's just so strange that anytime you look at social media now, it seems like everybody and their brother has become a travel agent for Disney. And to be fair, both my wife and myself have become travel agents for Disney. We never worked at it, but we got registered and we went through the whole training academy and everything. So I have personally learned the ins and outs of what I'm supposed to do if I were a travel agent. It was in the process of learning that I went, I can't do this. I wouldn't feel like I could be fair. It's an integrity thing for me, and I'm not saying travel agents like integrity. I'm just saying that it's, for me,
it's the game you have to play.
Yeah,
if that's what you want to do.
Let me put it this way: by doing what I do on YouTube, I just feel like I can give out better and more fair information.
Agreed.
Without that feeling of being obligated to anybody. So if I'm talking about Universal and Epic or SeaWorld or any of the things that are local or any of the things that I know, I can give my fair opinion, and I feel like I probably have a really good chance of directing people to the best value if they are going to come. Because you know what? If you're going to come to Disney World, at least let Lorena and I tell you how you can get the best value out of it, because we can. We can and we will, and there's nothing in it for us, which is great. It's just our joy of sharing it with you.
And saving you money, because these trips they're not cheap. You have some people who save for a year or over a year. It's people who will give up, certain things. Like, we're not doing that this year because we want to save money up to go to Disney. And you want to go and you want to have a good experience, but you don't want to go, like, say, being upsold. Ron and I, even Erica, we're not going to upsell you unless there's some experience that you want. So if you want to go on that fireworks cruise at the Magic Kingdom, we'll tell you how to do it, but we'll also tell you some ways to, do it without having to do that. So it's all about what it is that you want to do, not we want to have you do the most expensive thing so we can get all that money at the end of the day. Because one of the quickest things I learned as a kid, because my family, they could never get to the park on time, and they complain about how much stuff costs and they couldn't do anything. And I'm like, wait a minute, Disney publishes the schedule 6 months in advance, how the parks are going to be open. You mean to tell me the menus are online? You mean to tell me the fireworks times are online? So if I want to book my meal at Ohana with the fireworks view, I need to book around this particular time. Really? That information is free, and they won't tell you, which is why you hang out with us, you ask us questions. Again, also Mouse Savers. I freaking love that site. I have used that site for the longest time. They have great articles, great information to give you guys. So let's see. Deb says we're going to Universal in June, and there will be 10 of us. And yeah, we're spending about the same, but we have 8 adults and 2 children. Yeah, Much easier to
Yeah.
get your money's worth at Universal. And I've said this before, and I will say it again. Whoever was in charge of standards at Walt Disney World is now over at Universal, because I've noticed a change in the team members and how they approach people and how they handle things, even appearance standards. I can't remember the last time I saw a tattoo on a team member at Universal, because they actually have, standards. So I've noticed that. And price wise, the price point, I mean, yeah, it's a theme park. You're going to pay a little bit of a premium, but I would have much less of an issue paying $22 for plushie at Universal as opposed to 35 at Walt Disney World. I'm just saying. But kiss my grits. To go back with your super chat, these are the list of rides, or let's say movies, as he's suggesting if they ever redid the Great Movie Ride. Charlie Chaplin tribute, Sound of Music, and Grease musicals. I'm down with that, especially Sound of Music. Gone with the Wind, yes. Rear Window, Psycho, The Birds, Hitchcock tribute.
I
Clint
could see that.
Eastwood and John Wayne. Yeah, those are really good ones.
Mm.
Oh my god!
And I think they did have John Wayne right before.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I thought
did they?
Or was it Clint
I feel like he was
Eastwood?
on a horse.
I think
I'm
it was
sure.
Clint Eastwood, because it was the
Yeah,
Might
spaghetti
have been.
western, I think.
Might
I
have
think
been.
so. Yeah, I just remember because I said spaghetti western. What is that? How is a western Italian? I don't understand. And that's when I researched more about what
James Bond.
spaghetti westerns was. And then you'd have Star Wars trilogy, 4 through 6, James Bond, The Godfather, and Goodfellas. See, I wanted The Godfather because I was just like, what I don't, Public Enemy, I don't, it's like I can't really relate to that, but it's like if they dropped in The Godfather, that movie, that is classic cinema. Let's put it this way. Again, it permeates through pop culture. Anytime you see somebody wake up with the head of something in their bed, that's from The Godfather. And they did it in Rugrats too. That was kind of funny. Forrest Gump, Breakfast Club, Home Alone, National Lampoon's Vacation, yep, and Titanic, especially National Lampoon's Vacation, because they did a little tribute to Walt Disney in there. Well,
sorry, folks, the park's closed. The moose out front should have told you.
Who told you? I took
sorry,
family
folks.
to
Beyond
Florida.
Bayou Adventure is closed. It usually is.
That was pretty funny.
And of course, Titanic, the finale of the ride used to be the Wizard of Oz. And so, I'm all for the finale of the ride being the Titanic drawing scene.
Oh, we can't put that in Disney. Universal can do it.
with his eyes looking up. That's James Cameron's hand, right?
Yeah.
Oh, BR Guy says they had John and Clint.
Okay.
I don't remember John Wayne, but I
thought he was on a horse. I swear he was on a horse.
I think that was Clint Eastwood that was on the horse, but I can't remember where John Wayne
I can't either.
was placed.
I swore it was John Wayne on the horse.
Weird. Maybe it's because in my head, when I think Western movies, even though John Wayne is more of a legend, for some reason Clint Eastwood sticks in my, probably because I watched a whole lot of spaghetti westerns and didn't know what they.
But see, now they could have Michael J. Fox playing Clint Eastwood in Back to the Future 3.
That is really a mess.
Going across the Eastwood Ravine.
Snide Speeder, hello and welcome. Because I asked a photographer, a cast member in Disneyland for a photo with my phone, and they said something like, I don't do free photos. Not exactly what they said, but that was disappointing. I know Theme Park Casual is in the chat.
When was that? Because I know that In 2021, they still weren't allowed to, and I don't think it was till mid 2022. I mean, that shouldn't have been the answer, by the way. It should have been, it was a COVID thing for a while that they couldn't take your camera. But that's, yeah, outside of the COVID thing, they should have been, as far as I know, any cast member, not just photography, but like literally you should be able to ask any cast member and they would kind of have to stop what they're doing. Take your picture unless they were rushing off to an emergency situation. But like I've had situations where I know this. If as a cast member, we I don't know if they're told this now, but we used to get told if you are on your way to clock in and somebody stops you because they want a picture, you go take that picture and then let your manager know when you clock in to adjust your time. Because that guest is more important than you and your time and the late or the half point or whatever that you were going to get for being late. I don't know what cast members are told now, but it used to be when I worked at Disney that the guests were always prioritized first over everything. I have heard that's not the case. One of the cast members that I talked to recently said that one of her managers told her, the guest isn't important. Your job's important. And I couldn't believe when I heard that. I was like, wait, you're kidding me, right? No. It was weird. There's something that has severely changed with the standards of what they're teaching cast members now. And it's very strange to me.
BR guys.
John Wayne.
That was John Wayne. Okay. I think I saw somebody said, where is it? John Wayne was on the horse. Oh, yeah. The Searchers. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I didn't know what that movie was, but my dad was like flipping out. He thought it was cool. And I was like, who, what? But Clint Eastwood. Yeah, I knew exactly what his voice was. Rephotographed. That was last year in November. Okay. Yeah, that sounds really,
wow.
That's not right. If that ever happens again, you know what? You go straight to guest services. You make sure you note who it is, who said it, note who that was, who that cast member was, and then go directly to guest services.
That's crazy.
Hey, release the McCracken. That is nuts. And man, there was just something that I saw. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to also bring this up. There are MLM style travel agent companies out there. I think that's part of the oversaturation. The open, dirty little secret about a lot
I've never heard of that.
Websites or say bloggers that are out in, some of them they're out in the parks. Some of them that are online, like the Diz, like WW News Today, they have links to travel agencies. So you have to keep that in mind that they own. Yes, that they own. They don't tell you this up front. It's there, but people don't put the two together. So not often within the best interest to give you information to save you money for the most part. It's mostly to promote FOMO. Like you have to do this latest thing. You have to do that latest thing. Do this latest thing. Yeah.
Remember how I said that I was training for that? That's one of the reasons why, and I realized that I could not do my YouTube channel honestly and do that 100%. That's just the case, guys. I almost hate to say it. I have friends that are in the industry and I don't want to disparage any of them for doing what they do because it's understandable. I mean, especially those that started 10-15 years ago when I would have been jumped on board and said, man, I want to do this too, because I loved sending people to Disney 10 years ago. It's just it's if you started in that vein and you're trying to continue with it, it's very, very difficult to be 100% honest, even with yourself about the condition of Disney now, especially when you have things like ceilings coming down and leaking sewage over the people trying to ride Soarin'. It's just not the same as it was.
I had a panel fall on me. Remember I told you guys that? I was at the Polynesian at the Kona Cafe, not the Kona Cafe, Kona Island. You know, that like wall of
stand.
Little stand is, and the the place you can sit at behind there, like a lawn table. Well, not lawn table, but you know what I mean, like stools that you can sit on. And
It's where the
everything.
bacon is.
Yeah, behind the bacon. And I'm like about to go on a stream, and all of a sudden I heard this noise, and part of the piano fell. Like it literally, I think it nicked me a little bit on the hand, but like hit some
geez.
other guests. And granted, they guess the cast members came over real quick to check that out, but I have never ever had that happen before. So when it comes to the whole like travel agent game or whatever, I say, look, I don't need cupcakes. There's cupcakes at Publix, and it's
There's
cheap.
there's cupcakes at Publix? What?
Although, do not skip the cupcakes if they're sold over at the Animal Kingdom. I'm just saying, because it's so freaking good. Flamingo cupcake. That's all I'm going to say. That sucker is absolutely delicious. And yes, I've heard about, where did that go? Yes, you're right. Information and knowledge is currency. And the what is that's going to be out at Universal Hollywood? That like
The
fan
poster?
event that they're having. No, it's crazy. It's like a fan event that they're having. I want to say it's an answer to D23. Yes, here we go. Universal Fan Fest nights are going to change the game for after hours. And that it is crazy how much entertainment that they're going to have. Yeah, at these, and it's like current. We're talking like Jujutsu Kaisen, meet and greets with like Donkey Kong, Yoshi. It's Back
Now,
to the Future.
Is that anything like what we have with our Orlando Informer? I've never been to one of those. I get invited all the time, but I'm just want. I literally I want to go because I don't know what it is, but I'm sure you get the invitations too. The Orlando Informer.
Yeah, I get them. I just haven't had a chance to do them. Everyone I know who's gone, they've loved it. It's kind of like it's like it's not sponsored by Universal. It's kind of like, hey, anybody can rent out the park for however amount of money. Like MegaCon is doing the same thing that Friday. You can pay and you can go. But with this one out at Hollywood, like Universal is sponsoring it. And it's like a fan convention night, and they have several nights that are going on. So they're going to be going on, I think, right around the time where Epic Universe is open. So it's something for the West Coast Universal fans to have access to, while we have Epic Universe here. And also the Donkey Kong coaster, that ride is exclusive to Japan and to Orlando.
Will there be do you think there will be a special on NBC for the opening of Epic Universe? I mean, that's a serious question. That they've done it for all the other there should be, right?
Well,
like television
probably.
event.
Probably.
I mean, Comcast owns NBC, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so yeah,
they do.
So that would be it might be streaming on Peacock. That could be a pretty big deal tie-in for them, and who knows what celebrities they might get to come out for that opening.
I would. Comcast, they're very good at blitz and stuff like this. Yes, that was me. It's Florentin. Yeah, this was like a couple of months ago. I think that this happened. But yeah, that child that really did freak me out. You're going May 10th. Yeah, you're going to have a blast going, Shogi. Let us know how it is, because it looks like so much fun. And who knows what extra they're going to wind up putting into the park, because at Epic Universe, we've got Super Nintendo World, the newest incarnation of Super Nintendo World. I cannot wait. I'm not going to be able to go until May 26th because I screwed up. But I don't know how they're gonna. Well, I'm thinking about when they do the pass holder preview. Do not be surprised if for the pass holder preview at Epic Universe there may be a limitation on live streaming. I don't know for sure, because here's the reason why I say that. So I went. If you see my post on X, I went to the Passover preview of the tribute store for Mardi Gras. It looks so much like the bayou in there, smells like the bayou, looked like my grandmother's porch with the old-fashioned Coke machine. It's awesome on the inside. However, before I went inside, I was told I couldn't take pictures or video. I'm like, excuse me? When did this happen? And so I'm inside, I'm not taking pictures and video. I go back up to the front. I notice people are taking pictures and video. I'm like, well, what the heck is this? So I go outside to talk to one of the team members, and she let me know. She said, yeah, we just got word that they said it's okay, but no live streaming. And I'm thinking, well, what the heck happened at the beginning? Although I think I know what happened when it opened. It's an open secret that whenever anything new like that opens, that it gets invaded by bloggers, which is why I do not go when it first opens. You can't move. It's just like this horde that are trying to get through and get their videos and all that stuff. So I'm just saying that's kind of what I think what happened. But I've never seen Universal do that before. So just saying. Just saying. Although I will say that Universal team member handled that flawlessly. She was just like, you know what? Why don't you just go back and take as many videos and pictures, as you want. Just no live stream. I'm like, interesting. Okay. Cool. Look out for May 4th through the 10th. Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind because it was my fault that I didn't get the ticket for the 22nd because I had too much going on and I totally forgot about it. So I'm going to Epic Universal on the 26th, and I'm also going for July 4th as well. And from what I hear, it's going to be a very patriotic 4th of July at Universal. They have already put that on their website. So I cannot wait to check that out. So let's see. Yes, watch The Wild Robot on Peacock. I saw The Wild Robot. It was so good. Oh my God, I almost cried. It was so good. So good. You gotta
Christian's
watch
got a
it.
new sound. Christian's got a new sound bar. So now I got reason to barge in his room and be like, hey, we're doing a movie night in your room.
Watch The Wild Robot. Oh my gosh. The same guy who did Lilo and Stitch, and it has that same emotional gut punch. That is in it. So yeah, you gotta watch The Wild Robot. That's Universal. So just want to tell you. And I hope they win the Oscar. They might lose to that movie about the French black cat animated movie. They might, but it's so good. It really is good. So, folks, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I love theme park nerding out with my theme park friends here. So let's go around, let folks know where they can find you, what they got going on. Ron, what do you have going on, and where can people find you?
They can find me at Follow the Bradleys Fun on YouTube, X, and IG. I know this because I just read the headline below me that I changed.
There you go.
And Monday through Friday, I do a show called The Daily Dish, where we talk about theme parks and pop culture news. And then, of course, throughout the week, you can usually find me scattered throughout WDW Pros videos, Lorena's videos, sometimes on the Pros show, sometimes on T3PO or that Park Place, or, and then, of course, Tuesday nights, I'm usually here with Lorena for the Spice Lounge. And other than that, I have all of these videos that I'm in the middle of editing that are just not going the way that I want them to.
I hear you.
So it's been kind of a pain. But yeah, I think I'm going to try the latest thing that supposedly has been doing well on YouTube is just sitting in front of the camera and talking like a straight. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do some videos like that. But yeah, just check out the channel. Follow the Bradley's Fun. There's always some fun shorts on there, and there's tons and tons of stuff on the channel for you to watch from from the past. But a lot of it's still very, very relevant today. So
awesome. Well, folks, I've got the link to Ron's channel in the description box of the video. please do go and check out his channel and subscribe. Erica, what have you got going on to let the folks know about?
Not a whole lot, but I did do a podcast with Sam Wolf, Life of a Military Wife, on military relationships and how we adjusted to military life at the very beginning when we were new to military life. And that actually dropped on her channel. And I did put it out I am on X. I just don't post a whole lot on X. And to find me on X, our names are just reversed. It's Raf-Erica instead of Erica-Raf. So it's just a 20-minute podcast, and those will be coming out more frequently, I hope, just on military stuff. And other than that, we have the channel. We're kind of going through a dry spell. But you can catch me like here and on Lorena's Spice Lounge. Usually Pro's channel on Tuesdays and T3PO on Thursdays. That's pretty much, I bounce around, like that throughout the week. And we're still trying to figure out what we really want to do with the channel.
I hear you. I hear you, my dear. But you got to check out Erica's channel. She's got great stuff going on. Especially, I'm loving her background so much.
Welcome.
And it's not green screen.
Now you need some eyes. So it looks like like the bat eyes, like that section you go through in the Magic Kingdom where the wallpaper dissolves into like.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I have to figure out how to pull that off. I do have some banners I could put up with the stretch room banners I could put. So I was trying to figure out what I could hang on like here to kind of fill it up a little bit without putting nails into the wall and putting shelves because I don't want to mess with that. So
I hear you. Well, folks, as for myself, the floating islands, maybe you could talk about that next time. Amanda, I'll keep that in mind because I have one, but I need to do another one. The one floating island that I have in Disney Dreamlight Valley, I think that's going to be Pixar themed because I already dropped Al's Toy Barn up there. So yeah, I'll think about that for next time because the next free release I think is coming soon. I gotta finish up the latest Star Path, so I will definitely talk about that. Let's see, as for what I got going on, what day is it? Well, I have a video premiering, and I think it probably started already. Review of Shaft 1971 trailer, and of course tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will be having a watch party for Shaft 1971, starring Richard Roundtree. So you definitely do not want to miss that. The most iconic music done by Isaac Hayes, aka Chef from South Park. So you gotta check that out. Check that out tonight. Of course, Sunday is Welcome to Florida. Doing a little bit more Florida stuff this week. We're going to be talking about the Strawberry Festival that is going to be coming up next month. We're going to talk about that. Also, another way to remind people that Florida grows a lot of freaking produce here. Produce. We even grow avocados.
That's why I always hate it when people talk about Disney World. Remember during the big controversy, whatever. Like, oh my gosh, Disney World. That's the economy of Florida. I'm like, nope, that would be agriculture, people. Agriculture. Yeah. This is an agricultural state, and we produce more beef. And so there's like beef and cattle and chickens and fish and oranges and avocados and strawberries, blueberries. Even I think there's local pineapple,
onion, squash. Yep. My ex-husband, he had family that had I don't know if they still do, have a farm out in Plant City, and they farmed not strawberries but other veggies, and they actually their stuff would be found in grocery stores in the local area.
So this is an agricultural state. The revenue from Walt Disney World is incredibly small compared to the rest of the state. It it could go away and the state wouldn't notice it very much, especially since things like Universal and SeaWorld are here as well. But at the same time, you can't just pick up Walt Disney World and move it for those people that move it to South Carolina.
People forget we're a beach.
$10
They forget that we're a beach destination vacation and destination wedding.
Yes.
So there is plenty of tourism in Florida outside of the theme parks.
Yeah. There is so much, so many trade deals that we have with foreign countries. There are 3 top countries that are invested the most in the state of Florida. The first is Great Britain. There's already a cottage industry of people from the UK moving here to the state of Florida. That's number 1. The second partner is Japan. The third partner is South Korea. Okay, our produce goes all over the world. Fish goes all over the world. We have a crazily long growing season. That's really what Florida's known for. So come check it out. We're going to talk about the Strawberry Festival because Florida strawberries should be hitting stores up north pretty darn soon. We're going to have fun talking about that. So folks, as always, I may be going. I'm trying to go.
Are you going to live stream? You should.
It
You should
depends.
live stream and then go to Parksdale down the street for me. Just saying.
Okay. I'm just trying to decide when to go. I'm trying to decide if I want to see Leonard Skinner, ZZ Top, or Boys to Men. I have to figure out which one.
Let's try a choice. Boys to Men
quite the
always comes
lineup.
to Epcot. All right. You can always see Boys to Men at Epcot. So
that's true.
I go with ZZ Top.
ZZ Top. Yeah.
And make sure that they play the song from Back to the Future 3 because that's the one. I love that little segment.
I'll keep y'all posted because I do want to do more stuff that's in the state. We still got to go visit Tables Beach before the spring breakers get here. So I want to go out there, go see them all, especially CC Top. Yeah, it's crazy. So we're going to talk about that on Sunday. Talk about that a little bit. So like always, guys, thank you guys so much for supporting the Resort Recon Live podcast. We love talking with you guys. We love giving you guys tips. We love answering the questions. We love getting your insights because you guys in the chat, you are officially, hey, you're our co-hosts for this show. So we certainly do appreciate y'all being here. Make sure you subscribe to all of us. Make sure you hit that like button, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.